on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that pushes stupidity down the staircase of knowledge. Friday night, so we're going to have a debate. Always fun to have a flat earth debate. We have with us Mr. Sensible joining. How are you doing, Mr. Sensible?
Hi, not so bad. Thanks very much for having us on here. Doing pretty well, and I hope you are too.
Yes, Mr. Sensible has his own YouTube channel where he debunks the flat earth with logic and cheese. Link to his channel is in the description if you haven't seen him before. So please do go and check him out. He is actually doing a lot of great experiments and stuff that help debunk the nonsense that is the flat earth. Talking about nonsense that is the flat earth, Spurs is with us. How you doing?
Hello to one and all. Hi guys, great to be here once again.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, Spurs. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Flat Earth as ever, as usual. And yeah, we're trying to get into what I think is just an idea that hasn't been demonstrated. But yeah, we can get into that.
Awesome. So you contacted me, Spurs, because you said you would like to have a conversation with Mr. Sensible. Mr. Sensible, he's got lots of evidence and stuff. I asked him if he could do like 10 minutes of evidence, and I'm sure he can just do that off the cuff if he needs to. He sent me a couple of videos. So would you like to go first, Spurs, and give your 10 minutes, and then we can go over to Mr. Sensible and he can present 10 minutes, and then you can have a conversation about it?
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't need 10 minutes.
Okay.
But,
Well, just before you go into this, Spurs, sorry to interrupt. I wonder, before you do get into whatever evidence you got, is it possible for you to just sort of explain your position? Because I was wondering what it is you think about gas pressure, what about atmospheric pressure and containers? You know, before you go, not counting as part of your time.
Yeah. Why don't you just take a couple of minutes, Spurs, and explain your general position on flat Earth?
Well, yeah, the Earth is flat. It's motionless. There's no container, as I understand. There's no force to hold the gas in. But yeah, we can get into that. Obviously throughout the evening. So yeah, basically, I'm just your everyday friendly flat earther with a few twists.
You hold the position that there is no pressure in the atmosphere, don't you? That's kind of your main thing.
Well, again, we can get into it. We can look at what kind of pressure I'm talking about, if any pressure. I don't want to give away too much before we actually get into it.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool.
All right, Spurs. So why don't you just take however long you need to talk about the new evidence or whatever it is you have, and then Mr. Sensible can present some evidence that the Earth is indeed a globe and rotating. But over to you, Spurs. Do what you need.
Yeah, okay. So if you're going to... hello, Mr. Sensible. So if you're going to repeat to me what we've been told in school, colleges or universities, then we may as well pack up and go home now, because we've all had the same education in terms of what we've been told. We've all had the globe in the classroom. We've all been told by our parents and teachers that space, rockets, the globe, flying through space is all a real thing. So that's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for from you today, or what I'm looking for from you today, is your detailed explanation for my line of question is practical demonstrations of your claim. So what do I mean by practical? Practical is something that you can do in a step-by-step process. So you can show something as you're explaining it. So you can say, well, look here, I'm doing this, and this is what happens when I do this. And obviously there is a process to your practical demonstration. So today you will not invoke gravity, buoyancy, weight, or acceleration, obviously without a demonstration, because of course, again, we've been told in our education that there are such things, but again, there is no practical demonstration to back that up. So again, a practical demonstration does not mean that you should re-explain your claim as a demonstration. So if you bring up any of these terms, gravity, if you bring up buoyancy, if you bring up weight, if you bring up acceleration, obviously we'll look for the definition. of these things, and then obviously you'll have to back it up, like I say, with a step-by-step process of how these things actually work. Okay, so this is not a religious class. I'm not here for your religious rhetoric or preaching about what we've been told in the past. As far as I'm concerned, we've been lied to about the shape of the Earth, meaning there is no formula or measurable rate of drop beyond the so-called apparent or physical horizon. So this has never been produced. There's been a lot of back and forth over whether it's 8 inches per mile square or whatever we want to decide, whether it is, whatever it isn't. There isn't one that we can actually go out there and have a continuous rate of Earth curve or Earth drop. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So like I say, we've been lied to. And like I say, what I would like today is obviously if you can't demonstrate, to me it would show that you're part of the lie. I'm not saying that you are part of the lie, but to me, if you're going to promote something that doesn't have any practical demonstrations of what you're claiming, then how can we come to any other conclusion that obviously you're aware of what's happening? And you're not supporting your position. So again, I'm not accusing you or saying you are or anything. I'm just outlining that as we go through the discussion, you will obviously invoke various things that, again, may I remind you that we are aware of in the past, what we've been told. But today, this is a chance to show scientifically, like I said before, practically, step by step, you show and tell, not just tell and tell, because I find that we get a lot of tell and then tell. So hopefully you'll be able to show and tell as you're showing and telling, and demonstrate scientifically with a method of your choice so that we're both satisfied. It doesn't have to be the method that you've heard from other flat earthers. It can be a method of your choice, but as long as we get to a conclusion where we're seeing what you're saying, so you're showing what you're saying and we're seeing that, then obviously there is no argument. So yeah, pretty much over to you.
So
thank you for your time.
Is there any evidence that you'd like to present, or
just what you don't want me to do?
That's just my opening. That's just my 10-minute opening statement. Just to say, like I say, we're looking at various things that we're not looking for a religious preaching discussion. We're looking for science. That means we're looking for the practical nature, the practical demonstrations. Now, like I say, you can tell me what we've already been told at school and at college and university. Of course, we can research that. We can look at that right now. But what we don't have is right now are those elements and those variables that absolutely prove that what we're saying is true.
So just to be sure, Spurs, you don't actually have any evidence that you'd like to present Mr. Sensible that the Earth is flat. Just you want him to present you evidence.
Oh, I mean, the Earth being flat for me is a given. It's something that we observe. You guys talk about observational science. Well, I mean, we observe flat. We observe a flat horizon, which extends for miles and miles. Water, or liquid, I should say, at rest is absolutely flat, level, horizontal. We don't see water below the horizontal plane of reference. So obviously when water's found its level, we don't see water measurable. So my proof, like I said, the proof of a flat Earth is that it's observable, and all we're doing is you're looking for ways to say I don't believe that it's flat. Okay, you're just finding elaborate ways to go against what you obviously see. Okay, and that's why the experiments. But again, we can get into those experiments. But that's why a lot of the experiments they don't match up, and they fail because they obviously don't follow the scientific method. And yeah. Okay. So over to you, Mr. Sensible.
So I'll just make a note of everything you said there, Spurs, so that I can moderate properly. No evidence presented. All right, cool. No worries. Mr. Sensible, why don't you just take a few minutes to explain to Spurs why we're definitely on a globe?
Well, my understanding tonight, Spurs, was that we were supposed to be talking about air pressure.
Oh, we will do. Yeah, definitely.
All right, okay. Well, I'm going to concentrate on that first because that was the point of the discussion. So I thought you were going to turn around and say, well, air pressure, it's the pressure is the force on the walls of a container, as Oakley and others keep saying, but they always neglect that it's also the force on any other surface. For instance, if this was some sort of mini barometer, I'm in this room, it's a container, the walls have pressure on them, and if I measured it, it'd be 14.7 psi. But I move this barometer over here in the middle of the room, it will still read 14.7, i.e. it's not touching the walls of any container. So the container itself wasn't needed to provide and be able to measure pressure. And of course, if you take the barometer outside, you still read pressure. Where's the walls? Now, I was a bit surprised that you said no dome. So that did surprise me. I honestly thought you were going to say there'd be a dome or some form of container, otherwise the atmosphere would clear off into space. I don't know if you believe in space or not. Yeah, so I'm all geared around air pressure. Fight, can you show that map, that image that I sent you, please?
Yes, let me just get that up, 1 sec.
Thank you.
Come on. Sorry, when I reset the router, it disappeared.
It screwed things, did it? Okay.
Okay, here we go. Right.
Right, so what we've got when it comes up...
Why won't you... Oh, sorry, now my vMix is playing up. It won't let me transition to a new bit. There we go.
Okay, so it's a standard sort of weather map showing barometric pressure across a portion of the globe. Actually, I don't know what people would see, but what I can see is my head superimposed over Greenland. Because looking at Greenland, just to take an example, just south of Greenland, we're showing a low of 998 millibars, well, in fact, with an absolute low of 974. But looking across Greenland, you can see pressure measurements of 996, 1004, 1008. And you can see the lines are close together, the isobar lines showing a relatively high change in pressure from the high down to the low. And where you get isobars close together, you get wind, which is that different pressures trying to equalize. But they don't equalize instantly. The atmosphere does not clear off into space instantly. There is no container between the center of Greenland and that point just south. The atmosphere is slowly, comparatively, equalizing over hours without any form of container. And if you take another example, atmospheric pressure, sea level, 14.7 psi, which is approximately 1013 millibars. But you go to the top of Everest, you're down to 304 millibars. That's a 700 millibar difference. Yet Greenland to that low that we just saw is approximately 30 millibars, and you get wind. You get wind rushing from the higher to the lower pressure. So why does the atmosphere not rush from sea level at 1013 millibars to the top of Everest about 304 millibars? That's a 700 millibar difference. It doesn't happen. Something is stopping it. Now, of course, I can't say that it's gravity or weight, but something is stopping it, and I've not yet heard an explanation of why that atmospheric pressure at sea level doesn't rush upwards. And if I took a container of atmosphere here and then walked to the top of Everest, I still have 14.7 in here. I open it up, it rushes out. Why? Why didn't it rush up from down here? What's the difference? I'd like an explanation. I have an explanation. I think Desert File would probably have the answer, but I'm not going to play that video. We all know what Desert File thinks, and I think he's right. Craig, can we show my little video? Because it's quite interesting, Spurs. You said you wanted a practical demonstration. This isn't my practical demonstration, but I think it's a good practical demonstration to do with air pressure. Hopefully that's coming up.
Let me just get that up. 1 sec.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, my desktop capture is not picking up. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, my computer is doing some strange things, so let me just put this in a different way. There we go.
A little short video I just clipped together.
go away.
Here is some snippets from Overlook Horizon High.
Does it need audio?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me just put that on. There we go.
Here is some snippets from Overlook Horizon High Altitude Balloon video. You can see the balloon just prior to launch. It's got its lifting gas in it and it's ready to go. Note the size of it. Now at 50,000 feet, do you notice how it's bigger? 75,000 feet. It's grown further still. And now at 100,000 feet, surely you can notice that balloon is somewhat larger than it started. And now at its peak of about 108, 109,000 feet, look at the difference. The atmospheric pressure at 109,000 feet is at a tiny fraction of what it is at ground level. So the balloon keeps expanding and expanding until eventually it reaches the point it can expand no further and it bursts. And as it says there, the distance between a camera and a balloon has not changed. That balloon has expanded to about 30 feet across. And there we go. It can't take it anymore. And gravity takes effect and it falls back to Earth.
Oh no, you said gravity.
I know. I wasn't aware at that time. It wasn't allowed. Okay, so weather balloons work all to do with air pressure. That balloon was not expanding when it was down at surface level. It started expanding as it rose and the surrounding pressure dropped and dropped, forcing the balloon to expand in volume until it could no longer withstand it and it bursts. And then the package comes back down. That's exactly how weather balloons work. I have sent one up, although we had an issue. I'm sending up another one in about, hopefully, a week's time. And I'm planning to go up to 39 kilometers high until that balloon bursts. Now, that one we just saw didn't go up quite so high. So at the surface, that balloon was surrounded by 1,013 millibars of pressure. At 109,000 feet, I ran the figures, it was 21 millibar. That's 2% of atmospheric pressure. 98% of the atmosphere was below that balloon. Why the hell did that 98% not want to rise up and equalize across the entire height? So what we've got is this whole thing with containers, which we keep hearing, is people say you need to have a container for gas pressure. You don't. I have a cup here. In that cup is 14.7 psi of air. If I take that to the top of Everest, a lot of that will clear off out. The container's not needed. That I still have 14.7 psi here. Is this plate a container? Because on that plate is 14.7 psi of air. I think I'm going to wrap it up because I've just concentrated on the whole thing with air pressure because that's what I thought we were supposed to be talking about tonight. I will say a couple of things you mentioned. The 8 inches per mile squared thing is for a parabola. It's just a rough guideline for Earth curvature at a short distance, over a few miles. I think we better leave it and perhaps go into general discussion.
Yep, I think that's the best way to go. Spurs?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was nice. That was.
Just a little note for people. The 8 inches per mile squared, the reason it's talked about in the Flat Earth movement is because of Samuel Rowbotham, the OG Flerf, who misread it in, I think, the Encyclopedia Britannica under the heading of leveling, and then just started shouting, we should say 8 inches per mile squared, and we don't. Yeah, that's not right. Anyway.
Oh, no, I mean, again, that was just saying, well, we don't have a formula, a constant rate that we can go out there and measure with. But Craig, I don't want you to help Mr. Sensible.
No, that was just a note for the
tonight.
audience.
Okay.
That was just for the audience rather than you guys. But yeah.
Without any help from Craig, as you put it, Spurs, you said that the that water or fluids are always level. That's not true. I can't remember the exact name of them, but the really, really long test tanks they use for testing model boats, for scaling up to build ships, really long, and they use rails along the sides of the tanks, and they have to allow a curve in them.
Okay.
But maybe some can drop in chat what they're called. I've forgotten what they're called. There's some sort of test tanks. They're really, really long tanks.
Okay, so can we get into it now then, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go.
Okay. So what you're it seems to me that you're confusing. You may not be. You can clear it up for me if you're not. It's the difference between gas pressure in a container and atmospheric pressure in the atmosphere that we're speaking about. So obviously, gas pressure. When we define gas pressure is caused when particles hit the walls of their container. Right. That's what we mean by
any other surface. Or any other surface.
Well, again, I mean, I'm just going by the definition that is known.
Yeah, well, if
hold on,
you
let me
Google
get
it,
through
you'll
this.
find half of the... Yeah, sorry. Okay, go on.
Yeah, let me get through this, and then you can correct me. So gas pressure is defined as it's caused by particles that hit the walls of the container. And the atmospheric pressure is caused by gravity, a force exerted on it, which is obviously gravity pulls it towards the Earth. Now, obviously, you say you have your... Sorry?
I said I thought you weren't allowed to use the word gravity.
Well, this is the point here. This is it, you see. This is it. So this is where you sneakily invoked atmospheric pressure when it includes gravity. Without gravity, you cannot have atmospheric pressure. Gas pressure, on the other hand, you can have it with your container. So this is why I'm saying when you're showing your barometer that is showing pressure, you're showing gravity, essentially, pulling down the atmosphere, pressing on your device. And obviously, we know gravity is not a force. So obviously, we know that it cannot press on your device there. So something else is going on. So obviously, when we take a barometer filled with mercury, the mercury there, obviously, as you go up in altitude, the mercury will reduce in size in the tube because obviously the atmosphere is supposedly pressing on the plate of the mercury, pushing the mercury up. And as you obviously change, it goes in reverse. So the barometer
hold on.
Gravity.
Are you denying that, Spurs? Are you denying that there is atmospheric gradient?
A gradient? What kind of gradient?
For instance, 14.7 psi roughly at sea level, and roughly a third of that, say, at the top of Everest, getting lower and lower the higher and higher you go.
No, I mean, I'm not going to deny anything until obviously you have a hypothesis. Well, hold on.
No, that's not a hypothesis. I just showed you with that balloon. The atmospheric pressure is reducing as it goes higher. Hence, the balloon expands. Boyle's law, it needs, as the pressure reduces, the volume expands.
Well, look, first of all, when we're going to look
and that's what they rely on to pop and come back down again.
So when we're going to look in the natural physical world, we would have an observed phenomenon. Now, obviously, we feel temperature. We feel the exchange between hot when it's cold. So obviously, if something caused that in nature, we could say, well, we suppose that this is a cause to this effect. Your device.
There's no suppose. You can measure it. You can measure it. If you get a barometer, measure the atmosphere, go to the top of a hill or a mountain, you will see the air pressure.
Well, what made you think there was pressure in the first place?
The atmospheric pressure is lower.
Yeah, but what made you think it was pressure in the... Why? What made you think there was pressure in the first
pressure.
place?
You have said that you can't have atmospheric pressure without gravity. Obviously, we do have atmospheric pressure. So by definition,
no, but I'm asking what made you think of
making
atmospheric pressure in the first place? Why do you think? Why did that come into your mind? Where did you get it from? This atmospheric pressure?
Because flat earthers are always saying there must be a dome, otherwise the atmosphere would clear off into space.
You on the board. Why do you think there is atmospheric pressure? Where have you observed atmospheric pressure?
You observe it by not even stepping out. I observe it right now. There is atmospheric pressure. Otherwise, I would be dead because I could not breathe unless there was some atmosphere here. That atmosphere is held down to the outside of the
I'm
sphere.
asking where are you
and
observing
at lower altitude, it is thicker.
Do you understand the phenomena that we're
at
trying
higher
to observe
altitude.
here? We're observing the pressure. Where are you observing pressure right now?
All over my body.
You feel pressure
my breathing
all over your
works
body
with
right
pressure.
now?
Yes. At 14.7 psi.
Okay, so what's the cause of this pressure that you're feeling?
If you don't think there's pressure,
hold on, slow it down.
If you don't think
you've
there's
just
a
said
pressure,
that you feel
walk
pressure
into.
all over your... Hey, calm down, Mr. Sen. You're not being sensible here. I'm agreeing with you. If you feel pressure all over your body right now, what is the cause? What's causing pressure all over your body right now? So if I was to squeeze your hand, you could say, I'm causing the pressure on your hand.
Yep.
Now, you're saying there is pressure on your body. What's causing that pressure?
The weight of the air surrounding and pressing down on me.
Yeah, what's causing that force? What's causing that press? What force is that?
The weight of the air above, which is all trying to move downwards because of Desert File's favourite word, gravity.
But what is gravity?
Something that you're going to deny. I don't care if you call it gravity or something else. There is something that makes everything to want to move downwards towards the centre of the Earth. It also
let's go with that.
It makes you. It makes you. Hold on. Let me just finish.
That's a sensible idea. That seems logical.
Spurs,
let's go with that then. So you're saying there is something.
Spurs,
you're saying there's something that's causing a pressure on you. Okay, so let's test that something. Let's turn it on, turn it off to see if it still gives you that pressure. Can we do that?
What you're saying? Can you turn off gravity? No.
No, I'm asking you about your claim. You said something is causing this pressure to you. So can we control, manipulate it, turn it off to make sure it is, and turn it on to make sure it isn't, or it is? Can we do that with this something?
Well, unless you go into microgravity in orbit, then the closest you could do is go on something like the Vomit Comet. So you'll experience weightlessness. So your weight is gone. You're no longer pressing on the floor of the aircraft. You'll be floating in the aircraft, or rather falling down with it.
Okay, but I'll be still going towards the Earth, right? But that's not me controlling the cause.
Well,
we're talking about the pressure that you're feeling right now. How do we turn off that pressure and turn it on?
Well, I'm not saying that you can turn it off and turn it on.
If I squeeze your hand, I can squeeze your hand tight or not at all.
Yes.
So if I'm not squeezing your hand, you feel no pressure. But if I squeeze your hand, you feel pressure. So we can control that force. You're saying you feel pressure right now. You're saying you feel pressure right now, but something is squeezing you, but you don't know what is squeezing you.
Well, I know what is squeezing. I mean, you're not really aware of it because it's there surrounding you all day long, 24 hours a day.
What you are aware of is the temperature, right? You are aware if it's cold or if it's warm.
Yes, but you do realise that the atmospheric pressure at places like the North Pole is pretty much identical to that at the equator. So the temperature between the North Pole, South Pole and equator is vastly different. But you still would.
So far, we're not aware.
You're still going to roughly read 14.7 psi.
Yeah, but we can get into that because you're still presupposing this number. So I haven't questioned you on this. I'm talking about right now.
No, you can measure that bloody number.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the phenomenon right now that you experience. You said you experience a pressure like someone's squeezing you. I'm squeezing your hand. You can feel that. You're saying you're now feeling the atmosphere pressing on you. So I'm asking you, what is the cause of this pressing behind this pressure?
The weight of the atmosphere above me.
The weight of the atmosphere. And what's causing that? Yeah. How does it have weight? What is weight? It has
weight. Weight is mass times acceleration. The acceleration is 9.8 meters per second, which is the gravitational attraction of the Earth.
What's causing that acceleration?
Well, it's gravity.
Okay.
We don't have to have a full explanation.
I'm not even disagreeing.
Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity!
I'm not even disagreeing with you on this point. I'm asking you, how do we manipulate this gravity? So is this going to be a conversation, Craig, or not?
Yeah.
May as well not even bother because
you said
he's getting
gravity and it
destroyed
appeared.
on this very point, and we haven't even got into the pressure yet. We're talking about the pressure. Right now he's squeezing his face. He feels pressure by his 2 fingers. So we know what the cause. He can release that pressure and he can increase the pressure. We know the force behind that pressure. He says there's an external pressure, but he doesn't know where that pressure comes from.
I know exactly where that pressure comes from. It comes from the weight of the atmosphere, which is caused by gravity. That doesn't mean you have to have a full explanation for how gravity works. I can drive my car without having a full knowledge of an internal combustion engine. But I still know that if I press that, I still know that if I press that pedal, it will go.
Yeah, if I squeeze your hand, you don't have to have full knowledge about who I am and everything about me. You just need to know what caused the pressure on your hand and how we can control it. So if there's a pressure on you right now by the atmosphere, we should be able to control that force that is causing this pressure. Why can't we?
Why because we can't control and switch on, turn up, turn down gravity. I'm not sure where you're going with this.
We can control every other pressure. Why can't we control this pressure? But every other pressure we can control. We can control water pressure. We can control, when forces when I squeeze your hand and these things. So to get back to your balloon, cheers, Craig. This is the video that I posted. So as your balloon goes up in altitude, it enters into a region. It gets very, very cold. Now the balloon will become very, very brittle. Okay, and obviously if there's a pressure from inside of a very, very brittle balloon, what do you think is going to happen there, Mr. Sensible? Do you have a sensible answer?
Yes, it's not getting brittle, it's expanding. It's a latex balloon that starts off around a meter and a half across with the amount of lifting gas you put in it. By the time you got up there, it has stretched. It has stretched until it's reached. Sorry, you're not going to let me answer.
Yeah, but this is. No, but I think you misunderstand. So this is when you freeze a balloon. Okay, so look at the shell.
Oh, the video.
It's becoming almost solid. Okay. So
is this your video on screen?
Yeah. This is what
Spurs asked me to show.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Can we play that again then?
Yeah. So that was the point.
See the balloons and what liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, well, it just shows what happens when you freeze a balloon and whatnot. So what happens here? So we can see that the latex or the balloon is very stretchy, very moist, very elasticated, as it should be. But obviously, as you freeze the balloon, we can see it becomes almost solid-like, and it's like it could snap.
But have you noticed something? Have you noticed something else, Spurs? Spurs, have you noticed something else? It's got smaller, not bigger. Those balloons shrunk.
Precisely. It's condensing.
The balloon that went up got bigger.
But this is the... Well,
you're saying with that balloon...
Pause, Craig. Craig, pause. Go back a second, Craig. Go back. Just a second. When it's a bit more, So...
What temperature is that liquid nitrogen, Spurs?
So, as you said, the balloon was reducing. This is a very good point. So what do you think is happening to the only reason why your balloon is stretching is because there is an internal pressure inside the container. You have temperature and pressure inside the container. And your balloon is pressing from inside. And as you can see here, the balloon is shrinking when it gets into colder regions. So as it shrinks and you have a pressure from inside, what's going to happen? It's going to explode. You see? So it's nothing to do with the outside.
You cannot have this both ways. You've put those, or whoever's done that video has put those balloons in minus. I don't know what temperature that is. Minus a couple
minus 196 degrees centigrade. I think liquid nitrogen is.
Oh, not far off then. So put it in a very, very cold temperature. That balloon that went up at that height, it's about minus 50, minus 60. Nowhere near that, and it expanded. It did not shrink. And it
the only reason why it expanded, it would expand. Of course, it would expand because there's a pressure inside. It's like you being inside a balloon, pressing to get out. And as you go higher, the balloon becomes weaker.
Hold on.
And as the balloon becomes weaker, as you can see here. Yeah, but as you can see here, the balloon becomes very weak.
Right.
There
Spurs,
was
let
a
Mr.
pressure inside
Sensible.
that balloon. There was a pressure inside that weather balloon. That pressure or that gas was inside the weather balloon at ground level. The only reason it expanded is because the surrounding pressure got lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to
The
demonstrate.
gradient.
That's the point. So far,
I
we
did
know that
demonstrate it.
so far we've shown that you only experience temperature, not pressure. You're assuming there is pressure because of your device. So you have a
So
man-made
what
device.
you're saying then?
You have a man-made device, and you say, "Look, my man-made device tells me there is pressure," when you didn't experience it in nature in the first place. You see?
Hold on.
That's not science.
You
That's
said.
pseudoscience. There.
Hold on. You
Mr.
said
Sensible.
that it's got bigger because the temperature dropped. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I said
I'm
there
asking.
is
I'm asking. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm asking.
No, expanded because there's a pressure from inside the balloon pressing on the balloon. You see?
Yes, and that gas was in
That's
there
the
at the
only reason
time.
why.
So why did it expand more when it was up higher than when it was lower?
Because you've got high temperature, low temperature.
What?
Trying to equalize.
So, so it's a temperature trying to equalise. First of all, I don't see how the balloon could have maintained its temperature. And secondly, that means you could have taken that weather balloon, put it in a freezer, and it would have got bigger because it's a lower temperature outside the balloon. That would not happen.
Well, have you tested that?
Well, you get a party balloon, put it in your freezer, see if it gets bigger.
Yeah, there will be a sudden expansion, then a collapse. It'll be rapid. Test it.
Well, that'd
But
be
look,
nice
let's
to see
get to
because
the
that was.
practical. Again, you're going on.
Well, you
this
mean
is the problem
let's
here that
skip
we're having.
on? Now I've just got you. Now I've just got you over a barrel.
No.
You
But
skip
again,
on.
you're asking for something that you can't demonstrate. Again, you're looking for gotchas and not demonstrations.
I have just demonstrated that balloon will expand because the gas inside is exerting a pressure, and the corresponding pressure outside is reducing. Therefore, it can't hold it down to that size, so the balloon expands. You're saying that's down to temperature. So I'm saying, well, in which case you should be able to show that, evidence that by putting a balloon into a freezer and show it getting bigger because it's colder outside the balloon.
No, the temperature.
So you've made that claim. So I want you to evidence it.
No, because you've got a container here in the fridge versus the outside.
You said we couldn't measure. You said there's no containers.
Exactly. So the fridge is a container.
Yeah, but all you're talking about is the temperature, aren't you? Are you saying that the temperature makes a difference if it's in a container or if it's not in a container?
Temperature and pressure go hand in hand, but outside here there is only temperature. There's only water pressure. If you remove the water, you remove the pressure.
Where does the water come from?
Because that's what the only pressure that you were dealing with here is water pressure. If you remove the water, you remove the pressure.
Hold on. What water pressure? We had hydrogen or helium in the balloon, pretty much pure, and atmosphere, the standard atmospheric mix, but only about 2% of atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what I said at the beginning, didn't I? If you're going to just repeat what we've been told, then there's no point in this conversation. You're going to have to demonstrate that you've shown that the atmosphere is 0 at a high altitude, and then you came down and it increased to 14.75 psi.
But he showed
When
you
that
that.
I have shown a gradient. I have shown that atmosphere get a lower and lower pressure. You can measure it yourself with a barometer by just going up. Hold on. No,
you can't do it that way. That's not science. You're presupposing already. You could just build your device and say, here it is.
Spurs, hold on. You've
got to show where it was 0,
Spurs, stop a sec.
You're not then the increase in pressure, not the other way around.
Spurs, you're not giving him a chance to finish what he's saying. Please let him finish his point before you use the beginning of your sentence to interrupt the middle of his.
Oh, that's good moderating, Craig. Go on. That's fair enough.
All right, on you go, Mr. Sensible.
Right. I'm saying you can use whatever device you like to measure the pressure that there is in your house or in your garden. Go up the top of a mountain, that pressure will have reduced. Go up in an aircraft, it's lower still. You go up to 109,000 feet, it's only at 2% of the pressure you experience down at sea level. That is measurable. That is demonstrable fact. That's not debatable.
Look,
I don't think even Nathan Jokley would deny that there is I don't think even Nathan Oakley denies
You're not
that there is a
speaking to Nathan
gradient.
Oakley or Quantum Eraser, or
No.
you're speaking to Spurskimo. Now, pay attention to what I'm saying. You can climb to a mountain without oxygen tanks. You can breathe just fine, depending on your health, depending on your temperature, and depending how you regulate your body. Okay? This is a known
Well, I'd like to
fact.
see
This
you
is
at the death section at the top of Everest, where people die from oxygen starvation.
That's because they're unhealthy. Okay? If you're a healthy person, you'll be able to you'll be able to withstand.
Sorry, I've got to laugh at that, Spurs, because if
I
you
have
climb to the
evidence
top
that
of
you
Everest,
can
I
go
would
40,000
posit that you're pretty damn healthy.
Wait, hold on, one sec. Spurs just said that he has evidence. So on you go, Spurs. Please present his evidence.
Yeah, go on, please.
Well, you've seen it already, Craig, that Wim Hoffman went to Everest without oxygen.
He didn't go all the way up, though, did he?
Well, how high did he go?
Well, he went just past the first base camp and then ran for about 75 meters without a shirt on. That's all he did.
How high was that?
But just after first base camp, not that high.
But Spurs,
So,
even if that
so hold
guy
on. So what you're trying to
had
say
managed
is
to
that,
do
Mr.
it,
Sensible, are you saying that if you go to the top of Mount Everest, you won't be able to breathe?
what I'm saying is two things, right? One, firstly, everyone is slightly different and their bodies have different capabilities. It is possible, I suppose, for someone to make it a long way up. I don't know if they could make it to the top. I doubt it. But let's say that someone can. That's an outlier. Some people can run a mile in under 4 minutes. I can't. The vast majority of people, if not everyone, will die from oxygen starvation up near the top of Everest because there is not enough oxygen, because the atmospheric pressure is so low. Again, that is not debatable. There are dozens of bodies up Everest of people who have died
More than
from
dozens.
oxygen starvation.
Once you get past the dead
then.
zone, about 2/3 of the way up, between 2/3 of the way up and the peak, there's 307 unaccounted for dead bodies.
So you're saying that if you're in an aeroplane at 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet, you couldn't fly without oxygen. You would need oxygen in the
Why
aeroplane.
do you think they dropped oxygen? Why do you think they dropped oxygen masks in the event of
What would happen
some
to you?
sort of?
What would happen if you didn't have oxygen at these heights? What would happen to you?
You'd suffer from hypoxia very quickly, and you would die of oxygen starvation.
After how long?
I don't know. I'm not a medic, but it won't be long. You'll go unconscious very quickly.
So if I was flying to America from England, how long could I last without oxygen?
At what height? If you're flying at a few hundred feet, you'd be fine.
30,
if you're flying at 35,000 feet, you'd be dead. 35,000 feet,
After
you'd
how
be dead.
long? After how long?
Minutes. I doubt you'd even get that high before you fell unconscious. I think we're getting past.
What, you're saying that? So you're saying that if you fell unconscious, okay? So let's say you fell unconscious, you fell asleep. You say you stop breathing.
You would suffer brain damage from lack of oxygen.
How do you know this is true? Where's your evidence to support this?
Everyone who has climbed Everest and died from lack of oxygen is a start. Hypoxia is not anything contentious. That's a well-known thing. That's why they have oxygen masks for all the passengers in planes that fly at heights like that.
So you think that if you take a flight from I don't know America to England, a long haul flight, that you'll die after minutes because of lack of oxygen?
So Spurs,
If it was not pressurized, yes.
Just to give you some background here, in 2012, Jose Matada attempted to fly from New York International Airport to Edinburgh Airport by stowing in the wheel well of the plane. By the time the plane landed, it was estimated he'd been dead for 7 hours. 3 out of 4 people who have ever attempted to stow away in the wheel well of a plane with no oxygen supply have died.
Well, we have evidence that people have flown at 40,000 feet, Craig, 35,000 feet, 11 hours without oxygen. Survived just fine.
In an unpressurized craft.
They were in the wheel well. Okay. They were stowed away.
Well, I'd say two.
So can you send me that evidence so I can put it up, Spurs? That'd be lovely if you.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 things. I'd like to see that evidence, and secondly, even if someone has done that, that would be an outlier, which doesn't make for for good evidence, but I mean, I would be very doubtful anyway.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, for instance, if you say how fast can most people run? Well, most people can run at this sort of speed, but some people can do a mile in under 4 minutes. They're not the norm. They're at one of the ends of the bell curve. You have people who can barely move. You have people who can run very quickly. Most people can just run at a reasonable pace.
At the peak of my fitness, I did a 1.5 miles in 6 minutes.
Craig,
12.
hold on a second. Can you not interrupt the debate here? You're the moderator. Remember?
Oh, I was just adding relevant
Mr.
information.
Sensible needs help and assistance, then just say so, Mr. Sensible, and we can let Craig take over.
I think I might need some medical help soon.
Oh, me definitely. No, I was just giving relevant information there, Spurs. Like you said, some people... at the peak of my fitness, when I was training for the Navy, I did a 1.5 miles in about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say here. So you said that people would die after minutes without oxygen. And
at those sort of heights, let's say, Spurs, 99.9% of people would die. There might be 1 or 2 who would survive, but nearly everyone would die. And the fact is, even if some die, why? It's because of lack of oxygen, because the atmospheric pressure is too low, which is the point.
Yeah, but when has that ever happened?
Well, as been pointed out, by people stowing in the wheel housings on aircraft. It happens to them, and it happens to a lot of people up Everest who run out of oxygen.
What was the cause of death of those stowaways?
Hypoxia was in the one that I mentioned.
Hypoxia and freezing.
Yeah.
Well, where's the link for that, Craig? Where does it say that?
I get 2 seconds. I'll get you the link for it.
I think we're getting a bit off track though, because we've started off talking about the air pressure, and a gradient is not anything contentious. There is a gradient. You don't even have to go up very high to measure it. You can measure it with your phone and a tall building, I believe, if you've got the right app or whatever on your phone.
Well, I think people flying at 35,000 feet without oxygen masks demonstrates.
But do you know why?
It's just fine.
Yeah,
because
do your ears
the air
pop
up there
when
is
you're in
just...
the aircraft?
Not all the time.
Your ears pop because... No, not all the time, but they pop when you come down and so on. As the craft is pressurising and
It depends if you're a healthy person or not. It's all to do with your health conditions. If you're unhealthy, you will suffer these things.
To talk to Boeing in that, because they could save a shitload of money by not having to go to all the expense of pressurising their aircraft.
Okay, so look, let's get into science of all these things.
I'm just showing you the
we've
link
looked at
there.
the flat Earth. We've looked at the atmosphere.
One sec, Spurs. You did
basically.
Spurs, hold on one sec. You did ask, and I will show this link to you as well. But this is from the report. Today's tragic incident recalls the death of Jose Matada, who made a similar desperate attempt to reach the UK from Mongolia in 2012. His body was found on a pavement in East Sheen in southwest London, and an inquest found he was either dead at the point of death due to hypothermia and a lack of oxygen when he fell from the plane. Yeah, so don't travel in the wheel wells of planes, guys.
They didn't say. They don't know if it's due to not being able to breathe.
Well, it says there hypothermia and lack of oxygen. So I mean, they can tell these things
that's
when
what
they do.
Suppose.
What do you know what autopsies are? Or
I think though, Spurs, you're the one who's claiming that you could fly up there. Never mind whether you could or couldn't fly up there. Do you think there is less atmosphere at that height? Whether or not you could survive in it, is there less atmosphere as you go higher up?
Well, there'd be less water, right? You don't have. Well, you do have clouds at 50 miles. So above 50 miles, you'd have less water. If at all.
50 miles, I don't think you're going to get much in the way of clouds. I think you've got your scale wrong. 50 miles, I think that's probably too high for clouds. But I mean, I'm not going to bicker over the maximum height.
What do you mean?
I believe so. I'm not sure what but that's by the by. But are you saying that the only water in the atmosphere is in clouds?
Up to 50 miles, the pressure is the same. That's where the limit of the water is.
Okay,
that's what NASA,
then you're going to have to evidence that, because I just showed you a balloon which went up to 108,000 feet. 109,000 feet. That was nowhere near 50 miles high. So, sorry?
NASA tell us that there is water 50 miles high.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with it. You just said the pressure is the same. I have just shown you a balloon that expands because the pressure is reduced. It relies on the pressure reducing so that the balloon will burst and your payload falls back down. Otherwise, you don't get your experiment back.
all you showed
You
was
have
a
made a
temperature
claim.
change.
You, sir, have made a claim that the pressure is the same. I want you to evidence that.
No, you just showed temperature change. That was it. All we've shown is temperature
You
outside.
just claimed,
Spurs, to be
Spurs.
fair, yeah, you did just make a claim, and Mr. Sensible has presented plenty of evidence. So, could you please present evidence for your claim?
Yeah, you
What was
did
the
just
claim?
say the atmosphere is the same up. You said the atmosphere is the same pressure up to 50 miles because of the water. I want you to show me that the atmosphere is the same pressure. Never mind 50 miles. Say 1 mile high.
Well, I've just shown you. I've just sent Craig a video, a link where it shows that you can breathe just at 40,000 feet. And I'm going to show him a link now where NASA say that there is water or clouds at 50 miles. So
Hey, I'm happy, Spurs, just to save a little time because I don't know, and it makes no difference to my argument. I will concede that there is water or clouds at 50 miles. Okay, so you don't even need to argue that. I am not even going to dispute it. All I'm saying is you have claimed that the pressure is the same. I am contesting that the pressure reduces with height, and it's very well known and very well evidenced.
no, you have to go forward, Craig. Go forward. This is the one
Are
I
you going to
sent
ignore that?
forward. Yeah, go towards the end. I've got the article. It's in 6 Mile High. Forward a little bit. Somewhere around here. One of these stories here. So, yeah, one of these stories show us 6 mile. He did 11-hour flight. And he was 35,000 to 40,000 feet. I think he might have
Can
gone
you just
past
pause
it
a
already.
bit?
You might have
Can
gone
you just go
past
back
it already.
to the image before? It says 2 hours at sub-zero temperatures and low oxygen levels. So actually, that article is saying the oxygen was low, which is against what you're saying, but it doesn't actually give the height, does it? I'm not disputing that, but it doesn't give the height.
I know that's not the story I'm talking. You have to go back a little bit, Craig.
Okay.
Back.
And do you notice something else?
think you
It's
just-
newsworthy because someone managed to
I think
survive.
you've gone past. No, not that one. It's on there. It says 6 Mile High. You see,
I don't see anything that says 6 miles.
because you've gone
high.
past it. It's near the beginning.
Oh, you told me to go near the end.
Not the big Craig. You've been silly now. Where you was, but the beginning of those articles.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
Spurs. I
There
must
it
have
is.
left
Look,
my mind
but
reading
there it
powers at
was. You
home. I
just
do
went past it
apologise.
there. Look, you just went past it.
Okay, I'll go back. To there. This bit.
But no, the one before.
That was literally what it was just on.
Go back.
There.
Back. There it is. Right, so that article there, he was 40,000 feet, and he was on the plane for 11 hours in the wheel thing with no oxygen, right? So if there
Right.
was less oxygen, he would have died,
Yep.
and there was no problems.
But you're going to ignore the other story, which said about someone surviving for however many hours in low oxygen levels.
Oh,
And as I said,
Spurs, sorry,
put-
just interestingly about that particular flight, did you know that during the same passageway, his 19-year-old brother died?
His brother died, yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah,
we
so
looked
he
at that.
I wonder
survived,
why.
but his brother died. And after he survived, he required hospitalization and oxygen for nearly a week. Huh.
And there was a
but-
when you go onto the, I've got a Wikipedia on there that shows all the stowaways. Now the first 10, there was a higher success rate. There was one at 35,000 feet. The first 3 attempts all survived. Now some of them were like 20,000 feet. There was one at 35,000 feet.
Right, Spurs,
The first one was a
Spurs,
12-year-old
are
boy.
these-
Yeah, if you go to the
Spurs, I was
wiki,
gonna
let me get you the link. I'll get
Spurs.
you the wiki.
Do you know that in that story it talks about how the lack of air pressure made the guy pass out not long after the flight? I mean, the thing don't want to get involved in the debate here.
Spurs.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved in the debate here, Spurs. But
no, I mean, again, they're going to
Spurs, hold on.
sensationalise the...
I don't want to get involved in the debate. But what you have just cited actually claims that the air pressure was lower at altitude. So
yeah, I mean, they're going to sensationalise these things.
Well, no. I need to ask you. You are the one that's made this claim. So can you please present evidence that there is no change in pressure?
Yeah, he is the evidence that he survived without any oxygen.
I'm sorry,
tanks.
no, but
that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing, Spurs.
It says
that
yes,
he survived.
Right, so Craig, go to that link I've just sent you in Discord. Go to that link in Discord, and that shows you all the stowaways. Okay, like I say, the first 4 survived, and then obviously died. Survived.
Yeah,
why did those one die?
Right in the beginning of that article, it says
Spurs.
about
why they die? They die because it was too cold, or they got crushed in the wheel, or they fell asleep and
fell asleep. You're clinging
it's a long flight.
Wheel of a
you're
plane.
Going to stay awake for 11 hours. Of course, you're going to fall
If I was
asleep.
clinging to a
That's
bottom
silly.
of a bloody aircraft, I think I might stay awake. It's not very comfortable, and it's probably not a good idea.
And then
but
one that
Spurs,
I've got also...
you're not getting this, Spurs. Spurs,
Craig, in the same video here, the boy...
Are you going to debate Craig or me?
Spurs,
Shall
hold on, Spurs. Listen to Mr. Sensible. He is making.
Well,
a good
you keep
point
on
here.
talking, Craig. This is what I was saying. If he needs help,
I'm not. I'm getting
debate.
relevant information about things that you're presenting. That's all I'm doing. And again, in the Wikipedia page that you've just sent me, it says that during flight altitudes above approximately...
this is where Mr. Sensible should be looking through this.
No, you
sent
me
Craig.
Spurs, you sent me the link, and I'm just reading out relevant
show
information.
Mr. Sensible. All this is for Mr. Sensible to see that there is no atmospheric pressure, only water pressure.
Hold on, Spurs, hold on.
Remove the water,
Spurs, hold on. What you've just sent me, right? I need to get out relevant information on what you have just sent me. The link that
let Mr. Sensible find it then.
You sent it to me, and I'm reading the relevant information for people in the audience so that they can hear.
We're still talking. So again, I don't know how this is going to work.
Let me just read out the relevant information. Let me just read out the relevant information so people in the chat can see, and I'll post the link in the chat as well. But the link you just sent me says during flights at altitudes above approximately 2,500 meters, hypothermia becomes a risk, and reduced atmospheric pressure and partial pressure of oxygen may impair psychological processes. That's in the link that you just sent me. I'm going to post that for everyone to see. All right? That's all I wanted to do, was get out the relevant information for people. So please carry on.
And right, Spurs, how long can you hold your breath underwater in a swimming pool or whatever?
Look, we're completely derailing now.
Please.
This was just...
I'm not derailing. I'm absolutely bang on point, and you're not responding to me. How long can you hold your breath?
Okay,
just
so
the
world record is the world record is around 17 to 20 minutes.
Okay, can you get anywhere near that? I can't. A couple minutes if I'm lucky. Why? Because the person who is the world record holder, however long it is, has trained, has obviously got the right body shape, they're fit and so on. They are an outlier. They are not the normal person. Now, 1 or 2 people, or however many, may have survived at those high altitudes because their body can do with less oxygen, and all sorts of things. So the fact that 1 or 2 or a few can does not mean that the atmosphere is not lower. Things like the Sherpas who do help mountaineers up Everest, their bodies are genetically slightly different, and they can physically cope with lower oxygen levels than you or I. That's why they get employed, not only as guides because they know the way around, but because they can physically carry stuff because their bodies can cope with it. People are different, but the fact is, you go up high to whatever height, whether it's the top of Everest or a bit higher, you will reach a point where there's not enough oxygen, you will go unconscious, and you will die. That's not
true. We've got the evidence. We've got the evidence to show otherwise. Look, let's get back to...
Okay, you have just shown...
What evidence?
Okay, no. Yeah, Spurs, your evidence has just shown that, I don't know what percentage, half of them died.
Why? They died because they were crushed in the wheel crushed them. They fell because they were asleep.
That's not what...
Yeah, that's what it tells you. Go to the Wikipedia.
No, what you just sent me says different, Spurs.
Go to the Wikipedia. We're going through the list of all the people that tried it.
All right, tell me then, Spurs, how many people who died at the top of Everest died because they were crushed by wheels or something? or
Oh, no,
just
they
happened
died
to
because
fall asleep?
they died because it was too cold. Like I said, if it's too
You
cold,
don't think
you're
that
going
they've
to die.
had winter wear on?
It doesn't matter if it's too
You
cold. It's
don't.
too cold.
So why the hell do they cut up oxygen tanks? Why the hell have people actually stolen oxygen tanks from other people so
Look,
that
you're
they
just
can
making
survive,
me now
leaving those
answer
to
like
die?
you're just asking me for my opinion here. This is not science, Mr. Sensible. This is not sensible by any means.
You haven't.
The
presented any
science is that you measure that atmospheric pressure, top of Everest, it's roughly 30% that of sea level. That is undeniable,
fine.
100% solid fact. If you're
Fine.
going to
What's
say
the
it's
cause of
otherwise,
this?
you need to evidence it.
Fine, Mr. Sensible. What's the cause of this pressure?
What, the lower pressure, you mean?
Any
that what you're
pressure
saying?
that you're invoking, what is the cause of this pressure? You cannot have
The
pressure
weight.
without
Okay,
force,
okay.
Mr. Sensible.
Yes, gravity, the weight of the air above. As you've gone higher, there is less air above pressing, therefore there is less
Yeah,
pressure.
weight is the acceleration, Mr. Sensible. What causes that
Yes.
acceleration?
What?
Gravity, that's what's keeping your ass on your chair.
Right, gravity. Which gravity? Newtonian? No, let's not get into that. But can you demonstrate, Mr. Sensible, gravity?
Yes. Just have.
Boom.
Okay, so can you change the medium and see if the effect is the same, Mr. Sensible?
Sorry, can I change the what?
Can you change the medium, Mr. Sensible, and see if the effect is the same, Mr. Sensible?
Change what medium?
The medium that you dropped your object in, Mr. Sensible.
So do you mean if he
What,
dropped it in water or something instead?
Oh, Craig, listen, look, Craig, this is why I said modern day debates, because...
Spurs, I'm just trying to clarify so that he understands what you're saying. Is that what you mean? So in like water
You're
instead of
helping
oxygen?
him, Craig.
I was asking
It's
you a
not helping
question.
me because I'm not.
Fuck's sake.
I haven't answered.
I was asking you a question, Spurs, to clarify the question. Is that what you mean
Right,
by changing the
again.
medium?
Right, okay, medium. The pen that you dropped, or the smoker thing, or whatever it is in a
Yep.
particular medium. Now,
Yes,
if
the
you
atmosphere,
change
yes.
the medium, Mr. Sensible, will you have the same effect?
No, it will be slightly different.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So
If I
change the medium.
if I dropped
we've
it
changed
in water, as Craig said, then it would go down slowly. If I dropped it in a vacuum, it would accelerate at 9.8 meters per second, which is where you find that things like a feather and a bowling ball would then be visibly dropping at the same speed because there's no atmospheric
excellent.
drag
I'm glad
to
you
slow them
brought that
down.
up. Right. So
Good.
we're about to debunk that claim. Okay, of
Oh, goody.
objects falling at the same rate. I have evidence, and that this is not true. We have experiments. Now remember, Mr. Sensible, if hypothesis disagrees with the experiment, it's wrong. Okay, so bear that in mind. As I send Craig this link here, Craig, you should get this link, and then we're going to go through, Craig, all of the experiments pertaining to objects falling at the same rate. Okay.
Can I just,
And if you don't
before we
fi-
see them, Spurs, this isn't a part of the argument, but before we see them, listen, guys, it's 20 to midnight. I'm going to have to get up for work in the morning, so I'm going to have to finish at midnight, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
All right,
Craig,
just to
begin
give you a
at,
heads up, Spurs.
Fair enough. Begin at 2 minutes, 15 seconds, and then just play it, and I'll mute for a minute. 2 minutes, 15 seconds, Craig. Yeah.
And the mass of the hammer.
Let me just get the audio on there.
You don't need the sound.
Oh, you don't need the sound. Okay, that makes things easier.
Well, you can play it if you want. It's just music, so you don't need it, but it's whatever.
Yep, math.
Okay, just go to the first container, Craig. Go forward a little bit to the first container. Yeah, here. That's it. Start from there. There you go. From there. There you go. Right. So here. So, Mr. Sensible, are you watching? Right.
I am watching.
Right. So because there's no sound, I can try and talk you through a little bit. So obviously, this is
with magnets.
people try. Sorry.
They got magnets holding things in place or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying. What's happening?
Okay.
This is people like yourself trying to verify that things fall at the same rate. Okay, so
Yep.
these are all the experiments that I've been able to locate so far,
Yep.
where they've tried to replicate the BBC's experiment of objects falling at the same rate. Right now, that one
when they were
failed.
in,
We saw that
the Plum Brook.
Now hold on, that one failed because we saw the metal object fall first. Okay, it's very slight. You have to slow it down. And the same here. Look, we see that it's not even. Again, this is a poor one. It's not very good, but
Can
the
you get onto a
results
good
are the
one?
results. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. We've got a great one coming, Mr. Sensible. We're just warming you up. I'm giving you time to think about your answer also, because obviously you think this is the phenomenon. Now, this is a pretty good one. Not the best one, but it's a pretty good one. So pay attention, watch carefully. Did you catch that, Mr. Sensible? Let's look again. Did you catch that, Mr. Sensible? Let's look again.
Yeah, do you want to pause it for a second?
It's paused. There you go. Look, it's paused.
Okay,
It's paused.
okay,
It's there.
right.
It's done.
Okay,
It's done. Look.
Okay, so
Look.
let me respond to that one. Yeah, that feather did not hit the bottom exactly the same time. You're quite correct, but
Okay, next.
I would
next.
doubt-
Let's
Wait
move on.
until he's responded, Spurs.
Okay, fair enough.
what you're going to need to see it properly. It is a very good vacuum and obviously perfect release of the two things at the same time. However, even so, if you took that feather and had it outside the vacuum chamber, it would not fall anywhere near the speed of the steel ball. So even if that's a poor vacuum, it has shown that when you're near vacuum, that feather will fall very quickly. If you had a perfect vacuum, it would be, and a perfect release, it would be exactly the same. But even so, it demonstrates
Okay.
it's nearly the same.
Okay, because you're probably going to say the same thing for them, but it doesn't matter. Let's get through
Probably, yeah.
the science. Let's get through the I know you don't like science, Mr. Sensible. Let's get through it. Okay, so we've got the first one.
No,
Craig.
you won't.
Let's get to the next
You will
one.
not badmouth me like that. I love science. I don't know everything about science, but I love
Well,
science.
we'll
And
find
also,
out,
at the
Mr.
beginning,
Sensible,
I want to
because-
say, you said about religion. I'll have you know that I'm atheist. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form.
Well, we'll find out. Craig, please go. Please to the next. Well, you should play it now as normal because.
Yeah, I was just
just
noticing how on that one where when the feather releases, it tumbles slightly. It rotates.
we're not. Look.
No,
you
I
are gonna
was
have
I was just making an observation from what you were showing there.
Fair enough. But okay, so let's look at the next one.
So why
That's
not show the
number
BBC
2.
Plum Brook one, where it's got
Hold
a
on,
good
we can't get
hard
to that yet.
vacuum,
We've got
a
two
good hard
fails
vacuum
at the
and a long
moment.
drop?
I mean, no.
We've got two. Yeah, I'll explain that after this, Mr. Sensible. Don't jump the gun. Let's look at what we've got right now in front of us. The
toilet
regular
chamber.
man is trying to replicate what the BBC have done. Okay, and if it can't be replicated, if hypothesis disagrees with experiment, Mr. Sensible, it's wrong. Now look, let's take a look at this one here.
Whoa. Are you saying
What?
that they can get anywhere near the vacuum that they'd have at a facility like Plum Brook, which is a NASA facility, taking it down to, I think, about 10 to the negative 14 torr with that little pump?
Discuss that afterwards.
You're having
Mr.
a
Sensible,
fucking
please.
laugh.
If you please. So look at this one, Craig. It's not very clear here, but in the next shot, they're going to show more. Keep playing. Play.
Yeah,
Play.
I'm slowing it down so that we can get a better view.
No, not this one. Just let it play, and we'll get to the next one, and we'll see.
right, okay.
In a more transparent, because this is not clear. But look,
I like
they're
how
gonna show
you
it in the
cut
next-
that at the point where it started falling at the same rate there. That was lovely.
No. Watch
Okay.
what you see next. Here.
For
Play
time,
it.
Spurs,
Watch what
for
you see.
time, can we get onto the one that
I know.
I
Go
admit,
to the next one.
I'm
Craig.
happy to admit that not all those experiments were successful
Play
because the equipment
here,
and the
Craig.
design
Here,
wasn't
look. Right now, look, we get a clear shot. It's supposed to fall at the and look what the cameraman does. He pulls away because he knows it's a fraud. Okay, so let's look at that
Or
again.
he's just
leave
not
it,
a very
Craig.
good
It will play.
cameraman.
It will play. Look, the object falls way ahead of the feather. Again, that's a big fail. And again, they try
Hold
to
on
deceive
a
us.
second, Spurs.
Look at that. Look
Can
at
I
that.
challenge that evidence?
Yes, go
Can
ahead.
I challenge that
wanna
evidence?
Get through.
But let him,
Oh,
let
don't
him,
tell
let him
me no.
respond.
Right, you're showing that, and yes, the steel ball is ahead of the feather by a fraction. Now, you try that not in a vacuum, it will be nowhere near. The steel ball would fall, and the feather would fall seconds later, not a fraction of a second later. You've actually demonstrated that the lower air pressure would enable them to fall at a closer speed. And if you had a perfect vacuum, which you ain't going to get in any home quality vacuum kit, it would be identical, as shown on the frickin' moon.
All they did here was fall at a faster rate here, Mr. Sensible. No big deal. All we did was change the acceleration rate, okay? And it didn't fall at 9.8 meters per second because there was no medium there to stop it. Okay, next one, Craig, if you can.
What? I don't actually get what you're saying.
The medium controls the rate. The medium controls the rate of the object falling. Like I said, if you throw it in water, it changes the rate that it falls.
Spurs, just out of interest, do you know the equation for buoyancy?
Buoyancy again is a fictitious force. Okay, when an object is in equilibrium. When an object is, again, if you're going to preach, Mr. Sensible, then there's no reason why I can't preach either. Right now for you I have practical demonstrations for you right now, and you're just denying science right in front of your face. Okay,
he hasn't denied anything. When I Spurs, hold on, Spurs, stop. He hasn't denied anything. I am being a moderator right now. You are saying things that are untrue about your opponent. He has not denied anything. Like what? That he is denying stuff. He has not denied anything. He has responded to you with logic and science. You just saying he's denying it does not mean he is denying it.
You can't just hand-wave dismiss science like this.
He hasn't hand-wave dismissed anything.
Spurs, what I said about Spurs, what I said about those experiments, is they are not perfect. The drop mechanisms weren't perfect. The vacuums weren't perfect. However, I said that they did demonstrate that with a lower air pressure, maybe close to vacuum, but not perfect vacuum, the feather was nearly as fast as the steel ball. Not quite. The better the vacuum and the better the release mechanism, the closer they'll be. Which is why when you
replicate this on Earth. This can be replicated on Earth, this hammer and feather. There was a guy in the next frame. He was able to replicate this here on Earth.
Well, the reason I'm showing this is because the moon is as
close to a perfect
vacuum as we can get, and obviously on the moon
what we have here, Mr. Sensible, is Craig filling in the time for you where you should have been showing something practical like I have. I've shown you. There are 4 or 5 vacuum chambers trying to repeat what the BBC had in slow motion. They had cuts and edits, okay? And we didn't see the objects fall in real time, to verify
you haven't
their
shown
claim.
The BBC one. But what I just said to you,
the BBC one, they show it with cuts and edits, and it's in slow motion. It's not in real time, Mr. Sensible. So how can we accept a scientific experiment, which is not even science anyway, because we don't see things like that in nature?
Okay, Spurs. First of all, that was a TV program. Look at that. That feather is way behind the steel block. What I've said is, yes, those were scientific experiments that people did the best they could.
Can you stop criticising my science and show me your science? Because you just want to criticise me. That's the point.
That's the point of the debate. He's supposed to criticise your evidence. That's the entire point of the debate.
But what can I criticise then from him?
Well, he's already shown you stuff that shows that the pressure is a factor when going up in altitude. He's already shown that.
No, all he's showing that was temperature. It gets colder as you get higher. So what?
It also showed a reduction in pressure.
I refuted you because you said it's colder, so the balloon got bigger and it got rigid and burst. So I said, okay, well then, since you're making that claim, show us a balloon, or go and do it tomorrow, whenever. Put a balloon in a fridge, a freezer, and show it getting bigger. You then made the claim that
you're confusing atmospheric pressure. For goodness sakes, you're confusing atmospheric pressure with gas pressure. A container requires gas pressure. Atmospheric pressure requires gravity.
What do you think the pressure is in your freezer? Do you think it's under pressure? It's under atmospheric pressure. What you said, the temperature made that balloon expand and shatter or burst or whatever. Therefore, I'm saying, okay,
I said
blow
the
up a
pressure from
balloon,
inside the balloon.
blow up
No, I
a
didn't
balloon
say
if I
that.
may finish, and show me
I never said that.
it gets bigger. You did.
No, I
You
said that the
did.
temperature inside.
You also said, clear as day, and caught on this video, you said the air pressure is the same up to 50 miles. And we have given you all sorts of evidence about
Exactly the
things
same,
like people dying on Everest.
You can't show that it's not the same.
But you have not evidence. I have shown it by showing you a frickin' balloon which gets bigger because the air pressure is lower. You can get a barometer or other device to measure the atmospheric pressure, go up a hill, it will be lower. Boom.
Yeah, like I said, that is an explanation that you have, an explanation that
fucking
I
evidence.
have. It's an explanation that you have, an explanation that I have, but you can't demonstrate the force behind that pressure. You said it's something, but I don't know what it is.
No, I said it's gravity. We cannot fully explain how gravity works, but we know it
again,
works.
if you can't explain
Science,
your magic,
bitches,
it's
it
pseudoscience.
works.
That's not science. That's
Pseudoscience.
pseudoscience.
Jump off a building and see if it works. What will happen? You'll
Jump
go
off a
down
building
very
underwater
quickly.
and see what happens. Jump off a building underwater and see what happens.
You'd still get.
So do what? Jump into? Yeah, you will go down. Apart.
Jump off
but
a
allowing for
building
your buoyancy.
underwater. If I have a basketball on top of a building underwater, which way will the basketball go?
A building underwater. Well, because of the buoyant force.
Have you never seen
a
underwater
basketball
buildings before?
I don't. What are you talking about? A basket.
I'm
If you let
talking
go of a
about the
basketball,
medium. I'm talking about the medium, Mr. Sensible, that
Yeah,
the
then you're
object
talking-
is in. If the building is underwater and you throw your basketball on top of the building underwater, which way does the basketball go?
the basketball will go upwards.
Right, but if
Roe
you
v.
change the medium again now, and you change the medium to this atmosphere, which way will it go?
The basketball will go down.
Now, if we change the medium again and we go to somewhere like space, and we take the basketball, we let it go, which way will it go?
Well, whereabouts in space? Are you in interstellar space or in orbit around the Earth or what? Where are you talking about? Because that makes a difference.
You're just in outer space. Outer space.
Just in outer space, you let go, it will just drift.
Well, unless you apply force to it, but if you just let it go with the equal and opposite force, it will just sit there,
Yeah,
right?
okay. If you throw it, it will go on in a dead straight line until another force like the gravitational
but
attraction.
I'm talking about if you let it go. If you let it go,
if you just let
in
it,
space,
well, you said about applying a force. If you let it go in space, it will just drift.
Well, then, yeah, are you applying a force to it?
Spurs, I'm a little
Well, you just said
confused.
let it go. Make up your mind. If you apply force to it, it will
So if
go
you
in a
let it
straight
go,
line
can
unless
you let
it's
it go
affected
without
by
applying-
gravity.
can
If you just let it go, it will just drift.
Yeah, but can you let it go so it's equally, so it doesn't drift?
Yes, if you could perfectly let it go without providing any force, it would stay still.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. So now you've shown
What are
that
you
you
talking
can
about?
control the direction of an object without the need for this magical gravity. You've changed the medium, so therefore you've changed the direction, and you've even controlled the direction of the object. What more do you need?
No, you take if you're in the middle
Craig,
of space,
Craig,
you've taken
Craig,
away
we
gravity.
need your help in this moment. This is the point, Craig.
I'm sorry, it's very
We
hard.
will
to
debate
imagine-
once
Let him
again,
talk me
Craig,
through
and I will
this, Craig.
show
I'm
you that
fine. I'm fine. Let
he's
him take me
helping
through
you
this.
out too much, Mr. Sensible.
No. I'm
And,
happy for you to.
There's a
lead with
reason
these
for that, Mr.
questions.
Sensible. I'm not being rude.
I haven't helped out
Okay,
at all.
go ahead.
Right,
Yeah, you keep on
Spurs,
helping
I'm
him out.
happy for you to. I'm happy to look. Just Spurs. Don't keep talking to Craig. Talk to me. Yes, if you're underwater, let go of that basketball, it will go up. Yes, if you're in air and you let go or throw it, it will go down. Yes, if you're in the middle of space and you very carefully let go, it will hover. Your point, sir.
Is that we've controlled the direction of the object, the speed, the rate, the acceleration, all these things by changing the medium. No need to invoke gravity, no need to invoke magical forces. When we're looking for cause and effect, why did it go this way, why did it go that way? We know why, because it's looking to equalize, and it has to be down to relative density.
Oh, for goodness'
fuck?
sake! Density is not a force. Is not a vector.
Again, I'm not invoking any of these ideologies that you have. Remember, Mr. Sensible, talking about practical science. I showed Mr. Sensible.
Science,
remember, if you want to talk about God and religion, I can get into that.
No, I don't want to talk about God. I don't believe in God, so leave God out of it.
So, so don't invoke your magical gravity.
Nothing
stick to what you've just said. You can show me with hands.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to exactly what we're talking about, Spurs. Spurs, listen.
So you said
I politely answered your questions, Spurs. I politely answered your questions about the ball in water, in the air, and so on. So take that ball in air. You stood there, just like you were in space. Very carefully, let go of it. Which way is it going to go?
In space?
No. You're stood on the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the atmosphere. In your garden, you're standing there, you're holding the ball 4 foot above the ground, you very carefully let go, so you do not apply any up, down, left, right, forward, backward force. You very carefully let go. Which way is it going to go?
It's going to go where it can equalise.
Come on, don't pussyfoot around and answer.
There is no direction in this term here, in this case here, Mr. Sensible. It will go wherever. It will go.
You asked me which direction the ball would go. I answered every single time. Now you're claiming relative density disequilibrium, and I've asked you which way the ball would go. If you very carefully let go of it, and you're saying
it will go down. If you want to say down, it will go down, as we know what down is. Yeah.
So what? Okay, not down towards the earth. Then is that what you're saying?
No, because I'm saying that the density is what controls the direction and the acceleration. So there is no up, down, left, right. You can go in any direction, wherever wherever. So look,
I can smash you on that. Then I can smash you on that, Spurs. You take if you have a balloon with helium in, let go. It will go upwards, won't it? It will go towards the sky, away from Earth. Would you agree? Helium, a party balloon full of helium. You must have seen them when you let go and they go up into the sky.
It goes up, yes.
Yeah.
Less dense.
Put that in a vacuum chamber and it will go down.
Yes, of course. Because, why does it go down? Because obviously in a vacuum, let me explain. So, of course, it will go down because Craig...
Sorry, I'm
you're not you're supposed to be a moderator here. This is
not a moderator can't enjoy himself
by any means.
I've been moderating quite well, I think. I'm just enjoying myself.
Yeah, you have been doing quite well, actually. I'm surprised, that you
Spurs, you've no idea how much I've had to hold my tongue.
I know. I'm sure you're dying to
but however,
I'll tell you what.
Mr. Sensible did say that he needs to run at midnight, so I'd like to give Mr. Sensible a few minutes just to give any final thoughts, and I'd like you to give him the respect to let him say it without being interrupted, Spurs. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Sensible, I want to say thank you to you for taking the time out to come on the channel. I know it's very late for you. And guys watching in the chat, if you have not subscribed to Mr. Sensible, he is one of the best debunkers that there is. The link to his channel is in the description. I would please encourage you to go and give him a sub.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you, Craig, for hosting. And Spurs, I would like to thank you, because although it's been a bit heated at all times, I think you've remained polite. In fact, probably more polite than me. And unlike my usual thing, I have sworn a couple of times, which I don't. So thank you, Spurs.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, and I would very much like to do this again and perhaps carry on sometime. Perhaps we can sort that.
We can arrange that, definitely.
Smashing. With regard to what we talked about, I would say, first of all, an atmospheric gradient is absolutely 100% undeniable. All sorts of other things you can argue about, but I don't see how you can really argue for that. What else were we talking about? Sorry, I'm going back. We didn't really do as much about the air pressure as I thought. What I will say is that balloon video was one that I pinched and cut bits from Overlook Horizon, which is an excellent channel. I don't know if you're aware, Spurs, but I have sent up a weather balloon. It was not very successful because we actually had a manufacturing fault. We got to about 5.25 kilometres. However, I'm hoping that in about a week's time, we're sending up MAGE 2. That's Mission Above Globe Earth, Spurs. We're sending up a wide-angle lens camera just for the view, a camera pointing vertically to show the balloon expanding, and the most important, a high-definition camera that is not a wide-angle lens, and in front of it, it has two taut lines to act as a reference frame. because we want to go high enough to show the curve of the Earth, and that'll be interesting to see how people respond to that. And that is real science. I'm doing that science. I'm sending that up at my cost and the cost, and with the support of my subscribers, members, and plenty of donations, and a couple of kind sponsors, Arctic Hayes, Bob the Science Guy, and oh my God, I've forgotten the other name. Just Shoot Me, who's a guy who makes rigging for parachutes and so on from Canberra. So big thanks to them. So please, I'd like everyone to watch that.
I'll tell you what you should include. A cork. Okay, if you ever seen a cork in a vacuum, a cork under low pressure will shrivel up and reduce in size. Now, obviously, if you take a champagne bottle up into an area where there is low pressure, okay, that cork should shrivel up, and the bottle should pop, should explode.
Well,
right?
I'd say maybe it would. Yeah, but I'd say maybe that would. I don't know, but that would not be possible in the sort of experiment we're doing. We're going for a height of 39 kilometres. Weight is a major issue. There's maximum sizes of payloads that I can legally send up. We're sending up almost a kilogram in weight, so it's actually pretty heavy as it is. But I appreciate it as a suggestion.
Waste your time, right? You don't want to waste your time when.
Oh no! I'm going to bring back a photo of the curve of the Earth, and then I want to see you explain it. Okay.
Oh yeah, we can definitely get into that. I mean, we've already.
Good.
I mean,
okay, we'll save it for then.
Save it for then, yeah. Sure.
But I know you have to get off, Mr. Sensible. I know you've got work in the morning.
I do.
And like I said, guys, please do go and subscribe to Mr. Sensible. He's got some amazing content. And thank you again for taking the time to come. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. And I'd definitely like to do it again. Thank you too, Spurs.
Okay.
Cheers, Mr. Sensible.
Okay.
I'll see you soon.
Good night,
I'm going to say good night. I don't know how I get out of here.
Just close the call down yet, and it'll leave.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. So
speech there.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Stay sensible.
Always. That was quite interesting. Now we have had Team Skeptic join us. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I've been trying to talk, but it's all good.
You've been what?
Barely hear him. What's wrong with his mic?
Sorry, team, we didn't hear you talking there.
Anything wrong with my mic?
It's a little quiet. Sorry, if you were trying to speak, dude, we didn't hear you. My apologies.
No, it's all good. Can you hear
there
me
we go.
now?
That's much better.
Oh my god, I don't know why my mic keeps turning down on itself.
Every time I turn on my computer off and on, I have to go in and change the settings. It changes the level down to like 60%. I don't know why.
I know, it's exactly what I just had to do, was turn the mic down and back up.
Did you enjoy Mr. Sensible debating? I think he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He has a lot to learn, I think.
Very sensible.
Yeah.
He has a lot to learn, Spurs.
I know, right?
Craig, he would not.
That's hilarious.
I wasn't helping. I wasn't helping at all. I was giving relevant information to the audience.
Constantly interjecting, trying to give him little nudges and whatnot. You know, it simply won't do. These guys need to be able to prove it on their own too. Right?
I wasn't giving him any nudges. I was presenting evidence that you were giving to me. That's all I did. But Spurs, I was showing this video, and I do want to ask a question. Now, this is inside a car with the windows shut, and at the bottom of the mountain, see the crisp bag there is pretty, like small. But then as it gets to the top of the mountain, the crisp bag is expanded. Yet it's in a car with closed windows. I imagine there's air conditioning on. So how come with the temperature not changing, the pressure, although the amount of air in the bag seemed to grow? What caused that?
So obviously we can test that. We can test your prediction. If you think it's pressure, all you'd have to do is control the force behind that, Craig, and we would have our independent variable, obviously, and we'd have the effect, and we'd have our cause, which we right now you're assuming is pressure.
Spurs. Hold on. It's observable that as you go up in elevation, you decrease in temperature. It's observable. I used to live in the middle of the desert where it was fucking Well, hold on. I used to live in the middle of the desert where it was fucking hot as fuck, right? And every morning I could go out and see a dew point on the mountain where it was cold enough for the water to turn into frost on the top of the mountain, okay? So as you go up in elevation, it's a general rule that you drop in temperature.
Hey, team,
so as you go up and it gets colder, yeah, as you go up and it gets colder, why is the balloon expanding and not contracting, like you showed in your demonstration?
Why is it expanding?
Instead of contracting, yes.
Change, like I said. Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Change.
As you go up, it gets colder, just like in the ice bucket, or not. I guess it wasn't ice bucket; it was liquid nitrogen, right? Just like in the liquid nitrogen bath, it was cold enough for the air on the inside of the balloon to compress, and when it did, you see the actual skin of the balloon shrink down. All right, same thing here. As you go up, it gets colder as you go up. We should see the same thing. If that explanation holds true throughout the entirety of the Earth, then we should see that exact explanation happening with this bag of chips. Either the inside of the car remains at a constant temperature and the bag should neither increase or inflate nor deflate, or, you know, as you go up, it gets colder, the bag, you should be able to hold the bag out there. It should just be able to shrink down in your hand as you go higher and higher in elevation. We don't see that. It actually expands.
I'm not disputing any of this, team. I'm saying that if you
then how do you explain both of them, though, at the same time?
I've said, haven't I? So it's temperature. But if you're saying that it's pressure, you're going to have to show and manipulate the cause. Okay, you can't just guess and say, oh, well, I think it's pressure because the bag is getting bigger, when we know there was a temperature exchange, right? It's a very simple endeavor. Now, what I want to get onto before I go is Craig.
Wait, hold on. Before we leave that topic, hey, but Spurs, before we leave that topic, you said something that's kind of contradicting what we know to be true in reality. Let's say we have a bag of chips, and we're inside of a car, and we roll up the windows, and we remain at constant temperature. Okay. So because we're now remaining at constant temperature, as we go up in elevation, the size of the bag should not change. It should remain the same. However, we notice that every time we go up in elevation, we get a change in the size of the bag. We go up in elevation, there's less pressure pushing in on the bag expands. Can I break him?
No.
Again, but team. I mean, again, I hear what you're saying. My explanation is temperature, and like I say, we can vary temperature and we can get this effect. But can you vary?
But if we keep temperature the same, but no, hold on. You said it's temperature, but if we keep temperature the same and we still drive up the mountain, we're still going to see a noticeable change in the size of the bag. You know, when we say the size of the bag, we're talking about how inflated versus deflated it is. You know, the amount of volume that the bag takes up, for instance. What we see is we see an increase in it. No, it's not a hypothesis. This is a it's not a. This is something we observe. That's not my hypothesis. The hypothesis would be
all we observed is the bag getting bigger. So what? What caused it?
With elevation, correct?
Okay.
I'm asking you. No. Spurs, listen. You said it's temperature. I said okay. Let's control the temperature then. Instead of making it a variable, let's keep it at a changing variable.
How are you going to do
we don't have to control the outside temperature. We can control the inside temperature where the bag of chips is. We can put that on the inside of a car, and we can maintain use the air conditioner control to maintain a constant temperature, a relatively constant temperature on the inside of the car. So as we drive up in elevation...
Where is it?
I'm sorry? What do you mean, where is it?
What?
Who's done that?
It's here?
Yeah, where's the temperature? Like they've kept the same. Let's see the temperature.
Well, it's in a car with windows closed, so...
Yeah, but where's the number? Where's the temperature gauge that says it's the same? From top to bottom.
Why would the
Stop
temperature
talking
have changed
nonsense,
inside?
right? You're supposing that the temperature is the same.
Why would the temperature...
No, you're saying that what I'm talking about relates to this exact picture. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you keep the temperature at the same, relatively the same temperature...
Fine. I agree. Okay, so what?
So,
That's what you
right,
think.
Spurs.
But-
Why does
So if you
hold on.
agree, then how?
Why does
then
the
why, if you
temperature-
agree,
yeah.
then why do you think?
No, I agree. I
If you
say that's
agree,
your
yeah.
hypothesis. Until you test it, team, you're not going to know.
No, it's already been tested.
Yeah.
It goes
No,
up.
but what's the
It
temp- what's the
it
temperature in that
increases
car
in
then?
elevation.
What's the temperature? What's the
I
temperature in
didn't.
the
Oh
car?
my God, Spurs! You're trying to
don't
lock
know,
me
do you?
down to this experiment. Spurs, you're trying to lock me down to this experiment because it's on the screen as I'm talking. I don't give a fuck about this experiment. That's what you don't get. Okay?
Well, I have
It
two more
doesn't matter
questions
whether
before I
you're
go.
in
What
this
do you
car
think
or in an
one for,
elevator that's fucking
like,
locked and sealed. Okay?
Can we move on? I've got one question for team and one for fun.
No, because you still haven't fucking answered the question I asked you. If the
You
temperature
can't show
remains
me
the same, why do we
temperature. So
still?
What are we talking about? There's no temperature.
Okay,
reading.
so
How
if
do we
the
know what
temperature
temperature is?
remains the same, if the temperature remains
Yeah,
the
if you
same
can
on an
show
air
that, then we
balloon,
have
if you have a
something to talk about,
balloon,
yeah.
listen, if we have a balloon,
can show
okay,
it.
that's if you, all right. Whoever lives near a mountain, please go make a videotape of this. All right,
level,
I need temperature.
something that's
Hold on,
happening
hush,
already.
hush, hush,
Hold
hush,
on,
hush.
Spurs.
Hold on, hush. I need somebody who lives near a mountain because I don't live near a mountain. It needs to be of sufficient elevation. I need someone who lives near a mountain to go and drive up the mountain. I need two things to be shown: that the temperature relatively does not change. I know it might change 1 degree here, 1 degree there.
No, that's
I know
not-
it's
that
going to be
can't-
impossible. Okay, Spurs,
Wait,
shut up. Okay, you can't just say, "Oh, look, temperature changed a little bit." No matter what
That's
we
it,
get,
not
it
the
now
temperature
invalidates it.
value.
That's not how it fucking works, Spurs.
That's
So
how
what
it
if they show
works,
the temperature
Steve.
going
That's
down?
not science, then.
Okay, here you go, Spurs. Let me ask you a question. You say it's all based on temperature, right? So if the car goes up, I want you to make a prediction. And I want you to tell me why you're making the prediction.
No, I wanna move on.
Let's say, hold on, hear me out. Hold on, let me tell you what I'm gonna say, and then you can make your prediction. Okay? We're gonna have them start with one temperature at the bottom of the thing. Okay, at the bottom of the mountain. They're not
make it
gonna
cold.
move. They're just gonna
Cold,
hold
very
on.
cold.
Hold on.
Very cold.
Listen. Shut up. Listen.
Give him 2 minutes.
They're
please.
gonna start at room temperature. They're gonna blow the balloon up, so it's just as much as the ambient outside everything. All right. Then they're gonna sit in their car and they're gonna turn the AC unit on and get the temperature down to about 68 degrees, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. This will be a significant reduction in temperature in most parts of the United States right now, about 30 degrees Fahrenheit for many places. All right. Then we're gonna have you make a prediction. What should happen to the balloon? Should the balloon decrease in volume or should it increase in volume?
Well, I mean, again, if you can control the temperature
No,
and its pressure.
just answer the question. Just answer the question. If the temperature goes down 30 degrees Fahrenheit, should we see a
this can be
reduction in
explained.
volume or an increase? Spurs, should we receive a reduction in volume or an increase in volume of the balloon? That's all I need you to answer, so we can test that hypothesis first.
So as the balloon enters into lower pressure, the balloon will.
Jesus Christ, we're not. Hold on, we're not even fucking talking about pressure right here. I'm literally asking you to answer the question simply. If the temperature decreases by 30 degrees Fahrenheit with inside the car at the same elevation level, should the balloon increase in volume or decrease in volume? That's all you got to answer.
Look, like I said, it depends on the water that is surrounding the balloon. Okay, remember, if you remove the water, you remove the pressure here.
Spurs, do you think that measuring volume, the only way to measure volume is to put it inside of inside of water
Look,
and
we're
measure the
getting really
displacement?
off,
Are you
off
thinking
topic
that's... No, we're not. Okay,
Yeah,
because I'm
what
going
you
to
need
break
to
down
do-
your
what you
claim.
need to do-
No,
we're
because
talking about something you haven't done.
no, Spurs, when I sat there and told you that driving up an elevation, keeping the temperature relatively the same, is going to still have the bag of chips expand under every condition. Even if you
Look,
decrease
you
in
don't have to
temperature,
test
it will expand.
Right,
Spurs,
you don't
no
have the
Spurs.
experiment.
I don't have one to immediately present you. Yes, but it's not
Right,
like
so
no
let's
fucking
talk
human
about
being
it.
has
What's to
ever
talk about?
fucking done this. Spurs.
What's to
Spurs.
talk
It's
about?
not like
We
no
don't
fucking
have
human has
experiments.
ever fucking done this. This is a
How long are you
phenomenon
gonna
that
monologue
many
for?
people.
Team.
Until you
we
get
don't
the
have
fucking
experiment. What are we
point,
talking
Spurs.
about?
Until
What
you
are we
get the
talking
fucking
about?
point, Spurs.
You don't
That's
have an
when
experiment.
I
What are we
asked
talking
you to
about?
make a fucking. Hold on. I asked you to make a prediction. That's what we're talking about. We're gonna have somebody out there do the fucking thing. Shut up, Spurs. Yes, you can make a prediction. Yes, you can make a prediction. Yes, you can. Does the volume of the balloon increase or decrease? You should be okay. Do you not believe in the bullshit you say? Do you not believe in the bullshit you say? No, Spurs, stop trying to deflect. You do this all the time. Stop trying to deflect. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
So because there is no observed phenomenon in nature,
stop, Spurs. Stop. The answer is it either increases in volume or it decreases in volume.
You make
Which
your own
one is it going to be?
About your own pseudoscience claim. I cannot make.
So you don't believe the bullshit you talk about. So you know that we're wrong, but you can't tell us why. But you know we're wrong, but you can't tell us why, right? No, is that what you're saying, Spurs? Spurs, are you saying that you know we're wrong, but you don't know why we're wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Where do we see pressure in nature?
Well, easy.
Everywhere.
Right? Yeah.
Everywhere.
Because they need it.
What do you? Where do you think we get 14.7 psi
my
from?
fucking help.
What do you think the fucking? What do you think the P? What do you think the P in PSI stands for?
He just said pressure. I said, where does it come from? This pressure. Exactly.
I answered your question that we see pressure everywhere in nature. Don't try to put words in my fucking mouth. We everywhere.
Where do we see pressure other than water pressure?
Everywhere.
Other than water pressure.
Right now. You whether you know that you're feeling pressure or not, you're feeling pressure right now.
No,
pull out a barometer and check for yourself. Pull out a barometer and check for yourself, Spurs. You can't just fucking deflect with your dumbass fucking rhetoric. Nobody, you're getting old. Answer the questions.
I am. My wife knitted me a blanket. I'm quite warm. My wife knitted me a lovely blanket.
Greg's feeling toasty. Well, now, team, you are feeling under pressure. You're feeling tense inside. Your blood is boiling. And this is
just tired of you fucking not answering questions. I'm tired of you not answering questions. Well, your game, your shtick, your shtick is up. We have pointed out the fact that you are a very particular type of person. You're not a real flat earther. You're not a real flat earther, Spurs. If you were, you'd be able to answer these questions.
Where have you observed pressure in nature? You started shouting.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. That's your answer. Everywhere. Great. Yeah. That's a great scientific answer. Everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere. I can pull out a pressure gauge and measure pressure everywhere.
Spurs, let me ask you a question.
Except for you can't show a single proof or a single piece of evidence of your God, can you?
I've got a device.
Please show one piece of evidence. I can get a barometer and show you pressure at any point in the day, Spurs. Can you on command show me
your little barometer and you show pressure?
I can go get a barometer and I can show you fucking pressure at any point in the day or at any place on the face of this earth. If I ask you, hey, Spurs, if I ask you to show me one instance of God, and I'll let you even, how about this? I'll even let you pick the time and place. And you couldn't do it.
Well, I know this, that you feel God more than you do pressure.
No, you don't. Feel God on these nuts.
Is God feeling me? That's rude.
I appreciate it.
That you've got a little
tickle away, God.
There,
tickle away.
Barometer magic stick. You wiggle it around and you say, "Hey, presto, gravity."
Let me ask you a question. How come when Sean Hufford had his, his pressure reading and his temperature reading at one floor, and then he went up a floor, the temperature rose, but the pressure went down? What caused that?
That's the container that you're in.
Right, so
you pressure and temperature.
And
temperature in a container.
So the container that he's in, the temperature went up and the pressure went down. Could you please show me? Hold on, Spurs, don't interrupt. That's what happened. The temperature went up, but the pressure went down. Could you please show me?
I remember what happened.
Spurs, I'm asking a question. Could you please show me any container on Earth where the temperature increases and the pressure goes down?
No, I remember what happened now. He was supposed to control the temperature. So it's supposed to be this, just like what Team just said, where it's the same from the top to the bottom. And then the pressure had... What?
He measured the temperature and the pressure. The pressure decreased and the temperature rose.
Exactly. You're supposed
Why?
to have the same temperature.
Do you know what independent and
bottom.
dependent variables are? Do you know
No.
what independent and dependent variables are?
Like,
Just out of curiosity.
And you completely avoided my...
Independent variable is my cause. My dependent is my effect team. Very simple science. Now,
Okay,
what you
so
provided for
one
me
moves
is
based on the other.
pseudoscience.
Yes? One.
Yes.
Hold on. One moves based on the other, correct?
Now, look, you're bringing me.
So
you've
if
just said
pressure, if
no,
we're
your
measuring
best answer,
temperature,
Keith,
if we're
is
making
everywhere.
temperature the dependent variable, then
Everywhere,
the
you
independent
said,
variable
everywhere,
is
just like
pressure.
God.
Hold on.
God is everywhere.
Hold on.
Same thing.
If we make temperature the dependent variable
Right,
and
wait,
we
can we
make
get back to a
pressure
serious
the
conversation
independent
now?
variable,
So
hold
I'm
on.
close to you.
Then as the pressure moves, so shall the temperature. You can make a prediction based on those two things. So that's what we're
You can
asking.
do this on your
Make your
channel for
prediction.
sure. I will debunk you and show you that you're wrong. But we don't have to
All
time
right,
now.
bring it.
I want to speak to Craig about
you're right, and hey,
quickly.
I interjected in this. I interjected in this, and my bad for that.
No,
and you know
you're
you're
always
welcome on my
welcome to.
channel. Yeah, you're welcome
Yeah,
on
we
my
can
channel at
definitely
some
do
point,
this. If you want to
Spurs.
go
so-
through it, because I see that you have a lot to say about it, but you've got to let me speak, team. If you're going to just shout at me, then obviously you won't
understand.
get through the conversation. But so Craig, quickly.
Sunday, Sunday.
Yeah, but
First
before
of all,
you,
Team,
Spurs,
you can answer this
before
question.
you ask me a question, I want to get a direct answer from you about.
Did it again, Craig. Go on.
Well, I did what? you said you wanted to talk to me.
I said that
and now
last
I'm
time,
talking
and you
to
said, "Let me ask you a question," and now we're here again. You just won't let me get it out.
What?
But go on, fine, go for it. Let's listen again.
Okay, sorry, this thing has stopped working. Give me a sec.
Well, let me quickly ask team. You can think about this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the question is: so we have somebody wants to know why, when you drop something or something falls from the ISS, that the object doesn't keep the momentum of the ISS, therefore continue with it. Why does it just fall straight to the Earth? That's just an
What?
answer for team. But no, you
Okay,
don't worry about that,
hold on.
Craig.
Let me.
But,
No, I'll answer
what I
that
wanna
while
ask-
Craig gets it. While Craig gets everything working, I'll answer that. Let me.
Yeah.
Let me get you to clarify the question just a bit for me, though. Let's say
No,
we have an
I
astronaut
don't
on the
think-
inside of the
it
ISS.
does sound right, though. I do agree with the premise. It's like, so if you drop something out of the ISS, it should continue on that of the momentum of the ISS on that path, not just fall.
Okay, so
It
yeah,
looks like when you drop
not a problem, not a problem. Okay, so here's the thing: where the ISS is at, there's still a minimum amount of atmosphere. Now, this is not atmosphere that you and I could go up there and breathe. This is just tiny particles randomly dispersed in that area. Now, one particle at a time wouldn't make a huge difference, but the ISS is constantly traveling through these particles, and these particles, when they hit the ISS, they cause it to reduce its speed slightly. So every so often, we have to boost up the ISS. Now, if they drop something from the ISS, and it's different if they put a force on it, like towards the Earth, but let's just say they had some electronic arm that went out there and held something by a string, and it matched the speed of the ISS, and then they just let it go, right? Well, that thing would be would have less inertia, number one. So the particles that hit that thing versus the particles that are hitting the ISS, there'd be less. There would be more of an impact. You know, there would be more of a relative force on those particles, so they would slow down more. Just the same way as like if you had a dump truck rolling down the street at 5 miles per hour, and you had, you know, a Tonka toy rolling down the street at 5 miles an hour, you could put your hand down and stop the Tonka toy, but you couldn't put your hand over there to stop the dump truck. You know, the dump truck would just roll right through you. The Tonka toy is a little toy, you know, so it has less inertia, but the ISS has a greater inertia. So if the ISS were to set something outside of its glass, it would maintain the relative velocity for a while, but then eventually the friction it's receiving from the upper atmosphere would, or the exosphere, I think is what it's called at that point. The small amount of friction would impact the piece that you dropped out, like the piece of trash, for instance, that you dropped out, and that would eventually it would lose its horizontal velocity and begin going more and more towards the Earth instead of orbiting the Earth like the ISS. But for this reason, the ISS has to have boosters on it to continuously pick its speed back up so that it can remain in orbit.
Yeah. Now, I've got the thing
thank you very
working,
much.
so Spurs. So, just give me a direct answer here, okay? Why is the bag of chips smaller here than it is here? What's causing that?
Temperature change.
Right. So you're saying that as it gets colder, it expands.
No, I'm just saying temperature change. We don't know
Yeah,
what exactly
yeah.
what.
No,
temperature
no.
change
Please,
is going
please
on.
explain the mechanism behind how temperature change made that bag get bigger.
Like I said, you've got a container there with pressure, which it's trying to equalize.
No, no. First, you said it's temperature, not pressure. Pay attention.
Yeah,
What
bag.
is the mechanism behind that bag getting bigger because of temperature?
Yeah, so inside the bag you've got temperature and pressure. Outside you've got just temperature, and obviously it's trying to equalize. So you have a case of equalization here.
Why?
I just told you temperature.
All right. So you're saying it gets colder, that makes the bag expand.
No, there's a temperature exchange. What that is, you can just look at it like when a cake rises in an oven. You see?
Yeah, Spurs, you're not answering my question here. Right. The temperature has dropped. Okay. They've gone from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain, and the temperature
No,
has
we don't
dropped.
know any of that information, Craig. We don't know that. We don't know what the temperature exchange is. We simply don't know.
We know that as you rise up in elevation, it gets colder. That's just a fact. Okay.
It gets colder. That's it. That's all we know.
Yeah. So it's got colder, and the bag has expanded. Right? Is that what you're saying? Because it's got colder.
Well, again, we don't know what the temperature is inside the car.
So why did the bag expand?
I've just told you a temperature exchange.
What a temperature exchange did what? You're just saying You're just saying things.
So
you don't give me a reason.
The inside bag. You've got the inside temperature and pressure inside the bag, trying to equalize with the temperature outside.
And that makes it expand how?
What do you mean how? Because you've got high pressure, low pressure.
You said there's no pressure outside the bag.
You got pressure inside the bag.
Yeah,
which
okay.
Is
So why
did
the bag You're just saying things, Spurs. You're not giving me a reason. Why did the bag expand?
But we can test this with temperature, can't we?
Right.
We can't test it
So
with
your
pressure.
claim is that it gets colder, it expands, right?
No. Again, I'm saying why it expands is because there's a temperature exchange.
Yeah. Now, how does a temperature exchange cause the bag to expand?
Because it's trying to equalize in temperatures.
Yeah, that doesn't cause an expansion.
Well, we can see that here. That's happening, right?
Right. So it's got colder. There's a temperature exchange, and the bag has increased.
Well, again, you say
colder. Wait.
We
Hold on. And when in the thing that Mr. Sensible showed earlier, as it got up, it expanded, but we know it got fucking colder as it got up higher and higher. So why, in the thing that you presented earlier, when things get cold, did they shrink? That is the opposite of what you keep saying.
No, like I said, you've got less water. It's to do with the water and the temperature. So if you remove the water, you remove the pressure. That's what I started with.
Right, so what water was removed here?
From there?
Yeah. Why? What water was removed?
Are you talking about the liquid nitrogen?
Yeah.
Not water, right? Like, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it right. Okay.
Spurs is saying that the reason why, for instance, this bag of chips expanded is because there's less water around the outside.
Yeah.
What is that? What do you want? Less water? No, there's not.
Yes,
there's the same amount of water around the outside.
So why did this balloon contract when it got colder and no water change happened?
Well, that was a sudden drop, right, in temperature.
Yep. Now, please give me the mechanism behind why the balloon shrank.
The balloon shrank in this, because obviously when things go into a colder temperature, they contract.
Except that when we showed you it earlier, with the balloon going up in colder temperature, it expanded.
I just said to you there was less water around it.
So is it temperature or water around it? Which one is it, Spurs?
I've said it's the same. If you remove the water, you remove the pressure.
No, sorry, you keep changing from temperature to pressure, Spurs. You can't even get your own argument straight here. This video that you presented as evidence debunks your entire argument.
It debunks you.
You're the one that's getting in a fluster here. You've got the temperature.
Spurs, I'm asking you to answer a simple question, right? Please pay attention. What is the mechanism that is causing this bag to expand? All right, you can't just say a temperature exchange. How does a temperature exchange cause that bag to expand?
Because inside the container you have temperature and pressure. Outside you have water. If you reduce the water, you reduce the pressure.
So there is pressure outside.
If you would consider it water pressure, yes.
Right, so there's not air pressure, there's now water pressure.
Yes, now you're getting it.
So you're just making shit up. Guys,
Yeah,
there's no such thing as air pressure. It is water pressure in the atmosphere that causes balloons to expand. Fuck me, Spurs.
That's it. It's just water pressure.
Well, again, it's about demonstrations, and you can't demonstrate the opposite. You can't demonstrate that the pressure is due to
The fuck
gravity.
you mean? I can show you that there's no water in that car because someone's in that car driving around without fucking drowning.
Water, you remove the pressure. You can't show if you remove gravity, there was no pressure, and if you add gravity, there is pressure. You can't show that. You can't manipulate the independent
Yes, we
variable.
can. Hold on. Yes, we can. Yes, we fucking can. Yes, we fucking can. Yes, we can. We can absolutely do that. Yes. Hold on. 1 second. Yep. Hold on. Nope. We can cancel it out. That's the thing. F equals ma is not a. F equals ma is not as simple as it sounds.
Craig understands this very well. You see, team?
Hold on. What do you mean?
What?
Craig understands this.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I understand.
Come on, tell us how is that?
What do I understand?
How is that?
Because you know gravity's not a force, Craig. So obviously, if there's pressure, it can only be water.
Gravity
pressure.
causes a force, though.
Water.
I've been through
You
this many
remove the
times.
water, you're laughing your head off. You see?
Yeah,
you find this very
no,
funny.
you can't just say gravity isn't a force and move on. You need to actually understand what you're talking about. The force is an emergent property of the curvature of space-time. The force that causes acceleration is caused by gravity. That is called the force of gravity. Gravity isn't a force; it causes a force. All right. So yes, there is
a force.
Yes, that is why I refer to it as an emergent property.
Acceleration, Craig.
Well, grab that. Well, okay, if you have a mass and you have acceleration, what does that mean?
Okay,
you have a mass
hold on.
and acceleration. Yeah, it's supposed to have.
One sec, team. I wanted to answer this question. Spurs, if I've got a mass and that mass accelerates, what do I have?
Yeah. What? You're supposed to have a force, right?
Well done. F equals ma. That that acceleration that is caused by a force is caused by gravity.
That's the idea, Craig. That's the idea that there is a force behind this acceleration.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as we've just...
we call that the force of gravity.
As I said to Mr. Sensible, if you change the medium, you change the acceleration, you change the rate, you change the direction, you change everything.
Yeah, that's because you have to take into account other variables. For instance, in the buoyancy equation, if you change the medium... hold on. In the buoyancy equation, if you change the medium, you change one of the variables in the buoyancy equation. That doesn't change gravity. Gravity still exists.
Let's not argue. One last point. Right, you keep on saying
hold on.
Let team respond first.
Hold on. You said we cannot manipulate gravity. We can't change gravity. We can't cancel gravity out to test whether pressure is affected by gravity or not. When actually we can. Okay, so when we drop a bottle that's in free fall, Spurs, just be quiet for a moment. When you drop a bottle and it's in free fall, you have two accelerations working on each other in the exact opposite direction. One, the acceleration from gravity pulling things to the ground, causing everything, and I mean fucking everything, to accelerate towards the ground when in free fall. And two, while it's accelerating, it has an opposite force that's acting exactly opposite to gravity and at the exact same rate, okay, the exact same acceleration. And this is due from the bottle accelerating. So what ends up happening is the amount of acceleration that's being felt on the inside of the bottle during free fall is 0. 0 for gravity and 0 for the inertial acceleration or the inertial force. So, or acceleration, however you want to word it. And when that happens, what you can see is that the buoyant force goes away because it's relying on gravity. Then you can also see that the pressure that's causing the bubbles to be kind of squished down like a cigar shape, UFO kind of shape, you know, they're more oval than round. When the bottle's in free fall, you'll see that sphericity of the bubble comes back and it forms almost a perfect sphere. Let me roll the video.
Bubbles moving up.
And flattened out. Because that's where the pressure's going to come in, Spurs. Watch. As soon as it, look at that. Boom. Circles. Circles. Now we see circles. Why? Where'd the pressure go? The same pressure and water pressure. Let's just say it was the water pressure that was squeezing the bubble to a point that it was somewhat oblong because it's slightly more at the top or at the bottom than it is at the top. But once it goes into free fall, it's completely even all the way around the bubble, and therefore the bubble forms a sphere and stops rising. Why is that? And that's a direct manipulation of gravity there, Spurs.
Okay, so like I said, what you guys are doing is not showing control of your independent variable.
We just did.
So, no, you just showed the effect again. Showing the effect is not showing the cause to your effect, which is not science. It's pseudoscience.
No, Spurs, we just manipulated the cause of the effect. That's exactly what happened there. By being in freefall, by being in freefall, right? In our model, that would remove the gravitational acceleration. Okay, that is manipulating the IB, which in this case would be gravity. You can't deny it. That is literally manipulating it by removing the gravitate. It is removing the gravitational acceleration because of freefall. That is manipulating gravity, whether you want to agree with it or not.
Okay, so what you showed was an effect. Okay, we saw something happen. There was no control.
And no, you're wrong. Right, the control was the fact that 1, it's in freefall, 2, it's not in freefall. Those are the controls. Those are the changes, and that changes the independent variable of gravitational acceleration, showing that when there is no gravitational acceleration acting on an object, the pressure that was causing those bubbles to be flat goes away. The buoyant force goes away because we have manipulated gravity.
Now, again, so your hypothesis is that gravity is the cause of your effect. So to begin with, you would have to observe in nature a pulling mechanism.
Yeah, we'd see that every time something moves towards the ground.
Every time we let go of something, it falls to the ground.
Or an apple growing on a tree. When it gets ripe enough, gravity pulls it towards the ground. There's a pulling mechanism there, Spurs.
Sure. That's the hypothesis. I get it, right? So you're saying, well, there's something falling to the ground. That means there's a force that's causing that to happen. So we could hypothesize that, let's say, electricity. So we can take electricity and we can turn it on and we can turn it off and we can vary it in all kinds of ways. And we can say, okay, either that was the cause or it wasn't the cause. Okay, so what we find out, it's not electricity. Okay,
yeah.
So we can try the same thing with magnetism. We can try the same
Spurs.
thing with
Hold on.
Oh, Spurs.
Tell me how to turn.
You make this too easy.
Yeah. Tell me how to turn off a magnet.
So we can change the temperature again of a magnet, and that will stop the magnet from working. Okay.
Right. Hold on. I'm going to use Nathan Oakley logic here. No, I asked you to turn off magnetism, not change the temperature.
I am turning it off. I'm going to change the effect of magnetism by lowering or highering the temperature.
Okay, so how come when I say to Nathan Oakley to manipulate gravity, you just change the distance or mass, he doesn't accept that? Why are you allowed to have a different thing being the cause of it, but I'm not?
Because in nature we observe temperature. You know when it's cold.
Yeah,
when
we
it's
observe
warm.
gravity as well.
Where? How?
When something falls towards the ground.
When something falls, when
And
you
like I
put when you put your hand out and hold on, no, Spurs, listen. When you put a book in your hand, hold on, no, Spurs. When you put a book in your hand and you have to put your hand out and you can only leave it there for so long, that's because gravity is pulling that book down and you're countering the force that's being imparted upon your hand. Okay? If there is no gravity, there is no force.
Okay, fine. So that's your hypothesis. Again, what if I put that book on top of water, it floats, and then I put my hand underneath it? What then? The book has no weight.
So exactly what we're talking about. Hold on.
So now look,
exactly what we're
this is
talking
where
about.
I'm in
Hold
control,
on.
you're not in
Exactly.
control.
No,
I
when you
have
want to talk
control.
about weight, when you want to talk about weight and
causing
pressure,
you to do
hold on.
something.
When
Spurs,
you want,
hold on.
And that's the difference.
Spurs,
between what I
hold
do
on.
and
listen,
what you do.
Spurs, hold on.
Listen. When
let me
you say
finish,
the book is
Craig.
weightless,
I
no,
said
you
one
because
or
you
two
you
words.
said
Stop
you said the
talking.
book is weightless. No, you said the book is weightless. Now let me address that point, right?
No. Well, let me
Why
see-
is the
let me
book
finish
weightless? Why is the book weightless? Has the book dropped in
Are you letting
mass,
me
or is
answer
it just
though? The
weightless
point
to?
is, can I
Yeah,
answer the
sure.
question?
Answer the fucking question.
Are
But
you
don't
letting me answer
fucking
it in
start
full,
going
or-
on this
How
fucking
long do I get?
45-minute tangent, and then I have to go back to answer questions from 45 minutes ago. You talk
you're not
about the
letting me
book
answer
being
the
weightless.
question at
Let's
all.
start there.
You asked me
Why
the
is the book
question.
weightless when it's floating in water?
Because it's now in equilibrium. It's not got any weight. You will not be
Wrong.
able to weigh that book once it's in the water floating.
The moment
Obviously,
you
if it
touch
gets,
that book
dense and
is
starts
imparting a
to float with
force
water.
on you. The moment you touch that book is imparting force on you. You can't touch
Yeah,
the book
'cause-
without the
yeah,
book
that's right.
being
Yeah, when the
impacted
book-
by you touching it, right?
I
Okay,
agree.
good. So
I'm
the
not disputing.
water, what you feel, the force you feel is a combination of two things. One, the buoyant force pushing
I
up,
can't do
and
it.
two,
You're shouting,
the
Craig.
gravitational
No, not Craig.
force pulling
You're just
down.
shouting.
Just listen to what he says.
You know, before. Yeah, but before.
Well,
it
y'all
was,
told me to turn my mic up.
sensible.
You told me to turn my mic up. I didn't.
You're not.
but
You're not. You're
if
not.
it's ringing loud, it's
I
because I
can't even
turned
hear.
my
I
mouth
can't
up.
even
No, I'm not even
process
fucking
what you're
shouting.
saying.
No,
If you
team.
just
Team.
keep
Your
shouting.
mic. The mic's fine. Spurs is just trying to derail the conversation by going, "Oh, I'm being shouted at."
Yeah, if I can't process the information
Okay.
or digest what's being said, if you're just going to scream what you're saying, right?
Okay, so Spurs. Let me tell
Yeah.
you why you're wrong. Okay, because
Why?
when I showed that demonstration of the bottle being dropped, did you notice that the bubbles, which were less dense than the water around them, no longer traveled towards the top of the surface? Why
Yeah,
did it
okay,
not
so?
do that? Why did the buoyancy equation go to 0?
Well, that's relative. It's relative density here. But can we get back to the book?
Hold
And
on.
to the, no. Let's get back to the argument. You
The
asked about
book.
the book. How are you going to go
Okay,
back to the
you
bottle
asked-
when we were talking about the book?
How do you weigh a book? Okay, so I guess you want to talk about a scale from the top down, right? Let's say we have a scale at the top, we attach it to a book, okay, so it's weighing the book, and then we fill the water up until the water picks the book up, and then the scale no longer reads a weight on it, correct?
No. It can only have weight if it's in disequilibrium. So once it's in equilibrium,
What?
you will not be able to weigh that object. Let's take a giant ship,
In
for example.
disequilibrium.
A giant big cruise liner. Once that cruise liner is in the water, and if you don't know the weight of that boat, you will never be able to weigh
Okay.
that boat. Let's take a sub. Can I finish a point?
All right.
If you take a submarine underwater and you don't know the weight already, you will not be able to weigh the boat. And if you take
Excuse me.
the same
What
boat
the fuck did
and
you just
submarine
say?
into space, you will not be able to weigh it because it's in equilibrium. Over to you.
Okay, so the reason why the book appears to be weightless, it's weightless for all intents and purposes, is because the
Oh,
buoyant
sure.
force underneath the book, the buoyant force holding the book up, is equal to the gravitational force pulling the book down.
That's a theory, yes, I understand. That's the hypothesis, I
No,
understand.
that's what's happening. Yeah, that's what's happening.
No. Again, you haven't tested your cores.
You're wrong because I did. I showed you that video. Hold on. Here we go again. Just because you don't pay attention, I'll show you the video again. Why are the bubbles rising there, Spurs? We're going to do this one at a time. Why are the bubbles rising?
Because the bubbles are lighter than the medium that it's in.
Okay, great. Question mark. Once this starts falling and the bubbles no longer start rising, why do they stop rising?
Because they're now in equilibrium.
They're not, no, come on. Well, equilibrium of what? The density?
There were no forces acting on it. It's a very simple understanding.
No, wrong. Why was there a force acting upon it? Yes. Why was that? Okay, so you're saying that they're not rising because there's no force, right? So what was the force when they were rising?
What was the force? What do you mean, what force? It was looking for equilibrium.
You just said there was no force. No, you just said that they're not rising because there's no force. Is that what you're saying? That why are the bubbles not rising right now, Spurs?
Because they are now in equilibrium.
Of what?
What do you mean, of what?
Equilibrium is a term to describe two things that are relatively the same. What is the same about the bubbles and the water, Spurs?
No. This bubble is now at rest. There are no forces acting on it.
At rest? Okay. What the fuck do you mean? Okay, you just said no force is acting on it. So when the bubbles are rising, what force is acting on it?
No. Now it's in disequilibrium once it starts rising.
No. Don't try to do this, Spurs. When the bottle was not falling, why were the bubbles rising? You said they're not rising now because no forces... Hush up and listen. You said they're not rising now because no forces are acting upon them. So when they were rising, what force was acting upon them?
It was no force. It was relative density.
Oh my God. So when there's no force acting on them, the bubbles rise. And when there's no force acting on them, the bubbles don't rise. Do you not see the contradiction in your fucking answers? You are doing this shit on purpose, Spurs. You're doing this shit on purpose. Why? Okay, relative density. I'll give you that one. How about this? I'll go ahead and say, yeah, okay, Spurs, we'll go with relative density. Why are they not rising now? What happened to their relative density now when the bottle's in free fall? What happened, Spurs?
Craig, stop it. This is ridiculous. Craig, you've got to do something about this.
Oh, Spurs, I'm enjoying. This is hilarious. Listening to you dance around questions is absolutely hilarious. I mean, maybe if just once in your life you could try and answer a question.
Explain about this. If it's not moving, it's in equilibrium, team. If it's
Shut
moving,
up, Spurs. Shut up. When the bottle wasn't moving, the bubbles were rising. There's one explanation that explains both observations, and it's not relative density, and it's not fucking no force is acting upon them. It's called gravity and the buoyant force. That's it. Okay? Gravity pulls down, the buoyant force pushes up. Gravity is acting on the bubbles on the inside of the container. It's pulling those bubbles down with less force than it's pulling down the water above the bubbles. Okay? So what happens is the water displaces the bubble. This is the buoyant force that pushes the bubble up. Now, when the bottle is in free fall, you have two forces acting upon the bottle. Gravity pulling everything down, and the inertial force pulling everything in the opposite direction of the way it's traveling. These two forces act upon the entire reference frame, the bottle, the liquid inside the bottle, the air inside the bottle. And at that point, there is zero force acting upon them, and the bubble simply does not know where to fucking go. So what does it do? It stays in fucking place, because that's what F equals ma says. When there is no acceleration, a mass, including an air bubble, will continue traveling at a constant velocity, basically.
Again,
within the reference frame. You're not going to see an acceleration in any direction within the reference frame, is what I mean to say. Go ahead.
Look, this is very, very easy to understand. Bubbles, air bubbles underwater, they rise. Okay, there's no reason for a bubble underwater just to stop in mid-water. Okay, so obviously when you have this bubble stop in its position, It's because it's now in equilibrium. You cannot go up, down, left, right in any direction.
I'm done.
Until you
done.
remove it out.
I'm not even gonna try.
No, it can be point. I know.
He's not even worth trying. Yeah, it's not even worth trying with him. He's intentionally just doing this shit just to piss us off. So.
All right, Spurs, it is time that I moved into Super Chats. Now feel free to hang around whilst I read them, because there may be some questions directed towards you.
All right, well, yeah, I'll be listening. I'm just going to mute for a minute then and just see where it goes. Yeah.
Team, thank you as always for being amazing. All right, Jessica G for $2 said that she was first. Thank you. J.L. Warren for $4.99 says, Spurs, you obviously know nothing about science. I wonder if you know anything about your own religion. Bring your God, I'll be waiting. J.L. Warren wants to debate you on God and atheism and stuff. You up for that? Spurs?
He muted himself. Don't forget.
Sorry,
he muted himself.
About God?
Yeah, he'd like to debate you about God,
I do
atheism,
like to talk
blah,
about
blah, blah.
religion. I do talk about religion and stuff, but I mean, it's not really like essential to the flat Earth argument.
Well, no, we can put the
thing.
flat Earth aside for one night, and you and JL just have a discussion about religion.
Oh yeah, sure, can do that. Yeah, so it's not connected to the flat Earth. You can't say like
no,
religion. You know, so, I mean,
JL likes debating theists. That's his wheelhouse. It doesn't need to talk about flat Earth. He can just stick with religion.
Well, I mean, it is connected in a way.
I know I've
because
asked you
obviously
this.
It's creation.
I'm sorry, Spurs. I didn't mean to cut you off.
God created this creation, the creator, all that kind of thing. So it is kind of connected, but yeah, just in terms of morality, you atheists have no foundation or basis for your morality. You can do anything that you choose, and you're quite
evolution.
dangerous, really.
No, evolution. Evolution.
No,
Morality can easily be explained by evolution.
Atheist is very, very dangerous belief to have, because
There's
it tells you that
there's
no.
beliefs in atheism. And Spurs,
See, look how abusive
you
you are to me, right? That tells you can do what you want.
Spurs, hold on. Do you not think that I can have a sense of morals without God as a guide?
No, how can you?
Why can't I just be a moral good person? Why do I need God to tell
Because
me?
according to
And
you,
if I was to follow God's example, then I should go and commit genocide and stuff, right?
Over God, because you're gonna get he's gonna get wild, and we don't want that. So let this guy who wants to discuss.
Okay, yeah, I can arrange that with you and Jail Warren, definitely.
But,
Jessica, sorry, go on.
Go on then.
All right. Jessica G for $2 says, disco blue lights, let's go. Yeah, every time you super chat me, the lights in my house flash and my wife goes, fucking stop that. Collapsis for $5 says, FTFE, flashy lights. Also, please pay the F35 video. Send the video to me and I'll try and get it up. JL Warren for $4.99 says, Spurs, would you care for an egg in this trying time? That's a Riley joke. JL Warren for $4.99. Yes, because scientists use Patty City balloons for experiments, you numpty. That's true, they do not. Keith Milner for £5 says, average atmospheric pressure in La Paz, Bolivia at elevation of 3,640 meters and typical temperature between 23 and 28 degrees Celsius is 62.3 kilopascals. Yeah, because as you go up, the temperature drops, yet pressure increases, which Spurs can't explain. Martin C for $5 Canadian. That's exactly what happened to me when I tried to get it on with the waitresses in the walk-in fridge. The balloon sadly collapsed with the cold. Yeah, it's not small, guys, it's cold. C4 for $10. Sorry.
Well, just before you go on, I mean, a lot of these guys are keyboard warriors, what we like to say. I mean, when they're in the hot seat and they think they could challenge a flat earther, what we'll find is that most globe earthers crumble and they end up usually getting angry, like we see with Team Skeptic, and they cannot have a discussion about science.
Spurs,
and you saw how, I don't know if Mr. Sensible had to really go, or the pressure was on.
I still have clothes on.
Obviously it was very
I'm not
difficult.
angry.
Yeah, no, when Team gets angry, he rips off all his clothes. Everyone knows when he's angry.
But I'm also not going to let you just fucking dance around questions, Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm tired of you doing that, man. You need to answer questions, and you need to try, at least try. The problem why I get frustrated with you is because you don't even try to have consistency in your statements. You know, you just say something. And then you expect us to go, oh, okay, well, that's his official position. But then, 2 minutes later, you say something stupid that contradicts that. And now which one are we supposed to believe? The last stupid thing you said or the new stupid thing you said? So sometimes, yes, it can get a bit frustrating, but I'm not mad. If I was mad, you would know I was mad, bro. Straight up.
Aye. And why can't Nathan Oakley have a conversation without getting mad?
Well,
Yeah, Spurs?
are we still there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened.
Yeah, why can't Nathan Oakley have a conversation without, getting angry?
I mean, he gets angry for good reason.
Has he calmed down yet from me triggering him?
I don't think you would trigger him. I think he asked
Spurs,
questions.
Spurs, I triggered him within 3.5 seconds of being there. He was so triggered, like beyond belief. It was fucking hilarious. And actually, it does bring me back to one other point. Why did you let Nathan Oakley treat you so badly?
I mean, I don't think he treats me so badly. I mean, I could say you treat Team Skeptic so badly.
I don't treat
you put
Team
him bad
badly
all
at
the
all.
time.
Hey! About
That's my
time
point.
someone fucking gets on my side.
Team,
I
shut
love
the fuck
you,
up, little
Spurs.
man.
Thank you so much.
No.
That's my point.
About time somebody
I
sees all this fucking.
For
abuse.
instance,
I could
Spurs,
say that,
during the
you're
conversation
always
that
so-
hold on, but during the conversation that
exactly,
me and Nathan
I
were
could say
having,
that you
every
put
time
this
you
down.
tried to interrupt to kind of take the conversation forward, Nathan said, "Spurs, just shut your fucking mouth." Why do you let Nathan Oakley treat you so badly? Why don't you stand up for yourself?
Like I said, I think what he's trying to do is put you in a position where it's very difficult for you to answer, and you'll find he does that with most people on the panel.
Well, no, but
if
you
they-
specifically, you are trying to help him run that show by looking after Discord and stuff, and he still treats you like shit. Do you not have any self-respect?
Well, like I said, I see it differently.
I mean, there's only one way to see it, and that's that he treats you like a piece of shit.
I see people wanting to get their point out, and they're trying to run a show, trying to get things done in a particular order. And I'm absolutely fine with people wanting to get their points out.
So you're absolutely fine with Nathan Oakley treating you like a piece of shit. Good to know. Then we got C4 for $10. Spurs is the biggest po-ron. I don't think Spurs is a po. I think he is a contrarian, and no disrespect Spurs, but a fucking idiot. I don't think he's a po.
It is, because I think what it is because you don't see me effing and blinding every 5 seconds. And I mean, for me, because it's clear the Earth is flat, for me, I'm just
Evidence
relaxed
would be
with
nice.
it. So because for me, it's a clear understanding, and there's nothing to get stressed about. So obviously, when I'm talking to the opposition, it's not my claim. You claim there's pressure, you've got to prove it. You claim there's curving, you've got to prove it.
We've proved it.
Gas pressure, you've got to prove it. All those things. So, like I say, people may see it like that because, like I say, I'm not as ferocious as some of the flat earthers that you see.
Well, no,
But
it's just
for
the
me-
fact that Nathan Oakley treats you specifically like a piece of shit. That's
like
what I'm
I
saying.
said, he speaks like that to most people, and like I say, he's trying to get his points across.
Doesn't make it right.
And it's completely understandable. It's the same as if
Right. So it's understandable for Nathan Oakley to constantly say he's going to rape me and put his balls in my mouth, is it?
Well, like I say, that's what I would consider treating someone as you described, like
a piece of shit,
like poo. Poo, yeah. So
and
he doesn't say that to
you're
me.
okay dealing. No, that's cool. It's nice to know where that you are his little servant and do whatever he says.
Well, like I say, it's his show, and he wants someone to be quiet. And if that's the way he wants to say it, that's
Look,
again,
if
that's
every time I went up to Team Skeptic's channel, he just told me to shut the fuck up, I wouldn't go back onto his channel because I've got some self-respect.
I fucking tell you that once a show, dude.
Did I say you could
Like,
speak?
shut the fuck up.
Did I tell you could speak? Know your place, little man.
I'd even do it on your channel.
Well, like I said, the community
See,
that we have
Spurs,
here
there's a okay, but let me tell you
Yeah, we're
something
all
though,
friends.
Spurs. Let me tell you something.
is no,
when me
there's
and
no
Fight
division.
have that banter, right? You can tell it's a joke. You can't tell it's a joke when it's going your way from Nathan Oakley. You know, so
Well,
maybe
that's what I
I
was
guess
saying.
that's what the question that he's wanting to ask you is, why is it so serious when he tells you to shut the fuck up when me and Fight can have such a, you know, nice complimentary interaction with us here? Why is it okay for us to have that interaction, but it's impossible for him to have that interaction? You, as being part
Like I
of the
said,
interaction, would you prefer to be more friendly?
By its cover. And you know, like I said, we're a very small group, and we have a mission. We're all moving in the same direction, in terms of that the Earth is not a globe,
But it
and
is.
there's no scientific
So you're
evidence
all
for
fucking
that globe.
scam artists.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, moving on with Super.
He's a scam
PhD
artist, bro. Hey, Spurs, he's a scam artist. You should find yourself not associating yourself with that type of behavior on
Spurs,
the internet.
if you're a real
he doesn't
flat
believe
earther,
the Earth
yeah.
is flat, just like you don't.
Spurs, if you are a real flat earther, then you should probably find another real flat earther to go on the streams with rather than Nathan Oakley. But that's
Well, it's not about me. It's not even about Nathan. It's about the arguments and the claims that are made.
No,
you know,
it's
by
not.
the
Nathan doesn't care about evidence. Nathan just thinks
we all
everything's a
do.
begging the question fallacy. Nathan thinks making a hypothesis is a begging the question fallacy. Nathan is one of the most dishonest fuckers on the planet because I don't think he's stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. And you let him do it.
I
Just
mean,
out of
again, that would be
curiosity.
ridiculous.
Just out of
to,
curiosity,
start
Spurs.
with
Spurs, I have a legitimate question.
no
Do
point in starting
you
a
or any of the
hypothesis.
other do you or any of the other panel members that support Nathan Oakley's venture, do y'all share his scam money, or do y'all just make your own scam money on the side?
No, I mean, like I said, Nathan made it clear. You know, he wants to be a YouTuber, and you know, exposing the globe is,
Not very good at it.
you know, it's an
He's a
interesting way to
scam
go about
artist.
it.
He knows the Earth is not flat. He knows the Earth is not flat. He's
not.
said
He's
so
not a
on-
very
on
good.
occasion.
Yeah, and he's also not a very good YouTuber. He's been on YouTube for about 6 years. He's only got 15,000 subs, dude.
Yeah, but like I say, it's not about these individuals. Not about me. It's not about the people. It's more about the argument. Yeah, the people behind it, you may have an
The
interest in,
argument
but
is a scam.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not really about
Every
the
dollar
person.
given to him is given under false
More to do
pretenses.
with the,
Yeah.
you know, the lie that we're told and the
Nathan
lies.
lies.
that are
Anyway,
told to,
Nathan lies. Nathan lies.
He
every show.
lies
Yeah.
every day. Yes.
Anyway,
Sorry, Fight. I
that's
hate
okay.
to jump in like
No,
that.
no,
but
you're
he's
right.
a scam artist.
He is
so
a scam
needs
artist.
to be for what he is.
And the only reason I went onto his channel was to trigger him. And I did it really well. PhD Tony for $5 says, Spurs, how do you explain variations in the boiling point of liquids with altitude?
temperature.
No, that's not what he's
What?
asking. How does temperature
Okay,
affect the boiling? Do you realize what you just fucking said?
Yeah, of course.
So a change in temperature affects the boiling point, is what you're saying.
Yeah, obviously that's what we see, right? You take it higher.
No, it's a change in temperature is not what we see. But the
dead.
boiling point of water is the boiling point of water, even if the surrounding atmosphere is negative 30 degrees. The water will still boil at 100 degrees. Okay, so no. But it is affected by pressure, though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It is affected by pressure.
Spurs, I can put a cup of water in a vacuum chamber,
pressure
right?
from where?
Spurs, hold on. I can put a cup of water in a vacuum chamber, right? And as I reduce the pressure in that vacuum chamber, the water will start to boil with no change in temperature.
No, that's not boiling. That's called bubbling. That's the
No,
oxygen in the water.
Yeah, no, that is boiling. Boiling just doesn't mean hot.
Are
Boiling
you
means the
fucking
point.
kidding me?
Boiling means the point where water is turning into a liquid is turning into a gas, and that's what happens. You turn down the pressure, don't change the temperature, and that water starts turning into a gas. You reduce the boiling
no.
point.
When you lower. No, that's not the case, Craig.
Yes, it fucking is.
Yes, it is. Yes,
When
it
you,
is.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, when you lower the temperature, the water starts to bubble as the oxygen in the water starts to deplete.
No.
And starts to
No
try to
temperature
escape.
change. I'm not talking about any temperature change. I am just reducing the pressure, and the water starts to boil.
Yeah, but you can't reduce the pressure without reducing the temperature, Craig.
Fucking hell. So I'm reducing
Wow.
the temperature. So why isn't the water freezing?
Just fucking wow.
The water does freeze once you have
No, it
water
doesn't.
in
It's
a vacuum.
boiling. It's turning
No, if
into a
you've got-
gas. That's the opposite of
if you put-
freezing.
If you put water in a vacuum, it will turn to ice.
Really? Do you know what sublimation
Oh no.
is? Wrong, wrong,
It will
wrong,
turn to a
wrong,
solid- it will turn
wrong,
to a
wrong,
solid.
wrong, wrong,
Wrong,
wrong,
wrong,
wrong, wrong,
wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
I'll show you an experiment next time. I've seen
Right,
an experiment.
Spurs. Do you know what sublimation is?
Yes, of course, Craig.
What is
But
it?
the idea is, like I said,
No.
when
What
you
is?
lower,
Wait. Hold on. What is sublimation?
Look, Craig.
He
the
doesn't
idea is
have
that
to
when you
explain.
lower,
He said, of
Spurs,
course.
You just said you know what it is, so please tell me what sublimation is.
yeah, everyone knows what sublimation. This is
Tell us
not
then.
a difficult thing to explain, Craig.
If everyone
But
knows
what
it,
I'm trying, you're derailing
hold
now.
on,
You're
hold
derailing
on,
from
no.
my point.
I'm going to hold you to that. You've just said you know what sublimation is. Please tell us what sublimation is. For the people in the audience that don't know what sublimation is, please explain.
Yeah, you're derailing now, Craig. Again, this
No,
is a
I'm
very simple
asking
and-
you a direct question, and it is actually relevant to the point. You've just said that you know what sublimation is. So for the people in my chat that don't know what sublimation is, can you please explain it to them?
Okay, so for the people in your chat who don't know what sublimation is, it's the transition of a substance directly from a solid to the gas state without passing through the liquid state.
I guarantee
So that's
you
what,
he read
we're-
that off of
so
the
look,
internet
again,
just
stop
now.
derailing here now, Craig.
Right,
Okay,
right.
look,
So
you're
if I
over-
put a bit of
I
ice,
Stick to the point,
guarantee
Craig,
you.
let's stick to the point now.
Right,
yeah,
and-
okay, so,
Somebody
look,
Google that.
You said,
Hold on,
you said, Craig,
hold
that's-
on. Somebody Google it. Somebody Google it right now, please. Hey, can somebody
Right, look,
please Google
Craig, I answered the
sublimation and tell
question.
me if he
You're gonna
didn't
give me
just
another
read the
question, another
Google
question. This
answer?
is nonsense, Craig.
sublimation is the
Right?
transition of substance directly from the
Right,
solid
I've
to the... Yeah, just what you said.
explained
Right, now,
God
Spurs,
damn.
Spurs, so my point is, right, if I put a bit of ice in a vacuum chamber, what happens to it?
No, I said to you if you put water in the vacuum.
Right, so if I put water in a vacuum chamber, you're saying it turns to ice?
turns to a solid, yeah. All the oxygen will be depleted, and that's why it causes. That's what bubbles. The bubbles.
So
Is
are you
someone
telling me
pranking
that
me?
it'll become solid hydrogen?
Is
Are
this
you
like
telling me
the
it'll become
oxygen-
solid hydrogen? Hold on,
the
it's going to become a block of
the oxygen in
hydrogen
the water
then?
break will expand. Okay, and that's what causes the bubbling, not the boiling.
Oh my god,
Doesn't
this
get
is brilliant. Spurs, you should probably just stop talking at that point.
Well, Craig, the experiments show it that it's not boiling, that it's bubbling.
It is boiling!
You
It
do better
is.
when you obfuscate.
No, this can be demonstrated in the vacuum. That the water will bubble, not boil.
That is boiling.
So anyway, look, let's move on to my last point, Craig, because I'm going to.
Okay, hold on. So hold on. So what happens? Hold on. I want to take this a little deeper. Okay, we have the oxygen bubbling out of the water.
another
Now,
question.
water
Let me
is
just-
very famously known. Hold on. Water is very famously known as H2O. So meaning that if we got rid of the oxygen, we would be left with hydrogen. Now, is this hydrogen in liquid, solid, or gaseous state?
Right, look, we're not going to get through my last question with these points, which is not even worth it now. Really, I just wanted to go over Bob's gyroscope. Okay, you say that the Earth causes the gyroscope to rotate.
No one says
so
that.
again. So what caused the gyro to rotate?
The gyro doesn't rotate. That's not how it works.
So what happens then? What causes? What gives us our reading in the gyroscope?
Right, so an interferometric fiber optic gyroscope, basically you can say it maintains its relative position relative to distant stars, right? It's got a fixed point relative to the cosmic microwave background radiation. So as Earth rotates, you get a drift. It's not because the gyroscope is rotating, it's because...
No, I'm saying in the gyro, what tells us is what's going on inside the gyro.
the Sagnac effect.
Yeah. So what's the cause of that?
Well, light
That
is
effect.
light is being fired and it is split into two beams. If the gyroscope
So
is
light is the
hold on,
cause-
let me answer the question. If the gyroscope is stationary, then the path that the light has to travel on each side is exactly the same. If the gyroscope is in motion, that literally changes the distance the light has to travel, meaning that you register an interference pattern.
No, I'm only interested in the effect in the device. What is the effect?
It's called the Sagnac effect.
Okay, so what's the cause of that effect?
What's the cause of the
Rotation of the
Sagnac effect? The rotation of the Earth.
Okay, so now that's the hypothesis. Great. So how did you manipulate the rotation of the Earth to verify this effect?
So you think that for us to be able to test this, we only have two conditions that can possibly be met. The Earth is rotating, and then we must stop the rotation of the Earth as well. Sorry, Spurs. That's not how science works, man. You just did tell us that.
Spurs, to answer your question, right? Here is how you would counter the rotation of the Earth in that way, okay? To see if it is the rotation of the Earth, you could simply place the gyroscope on a platform that was moving in the opposite direction to the rotation of the Earth, and that would change the reading that you get.
No, let's try this again. So, what is the effect in this device that you have?
Are you hard of hearing? It's called the Sagnac effect.
I heard you, but again, you seem to be slow in understanding the process.
No,
we
Spurs,
have an effect.
Spurs, I have explained the process to you. You are slowing understanding.
Right. So if you have an effect,
when Spurs calls you slow, something in life is wrong.
You said the cause is Earth rotation. Now, to prove it's actually the Earth, we're going to have to manipulate that independent variable.
Cool, and I've just told you how to do that.
don't.
You can, if you want to do that, you can easily just introduce a counter rotation, no problem.
So how did you manipulate that? How did you move the Earth?
Did you listen to what I said, or?
No, I'm only interested in how you
The
manipulated.
same way we manipulated gravity in the dropped bottle, you moron.
So you see the
We
problem.
put something there to counter
Spurs,
what we believe to
Spurs,
be there.
I just told you the answer to your question, and you acted like I didn't. Spurs, hold on. Spurs, hold on. Spurs, I just answered your question, and you carried on as though I didn't. Did you not hear what I said?
How are you moving the Earth? How did you stop the Earth to see?
You don't need to stop the Earth. You can introduce a counter rotation. You fucking moron.
No, you would stop the Earth, stop the core to see.
Cool,
if the
no
effect
worries.
changes.
I'll just call Kal-El and ask him to fly around the Earth backwards. That's been done before.
That's what you would need to do. That right to see if the effect is different.
Or you could introduce a counter rotation on the device and see if. Why not? Why not? Why? No. That is what you could do if you were to test.
Don't introduce another variable.
That is not introducing another variable. That is countering the rotation of the Earth.
Another cause.
Oh right, so
the cause that you first claimed.
It's so. Reducing the rotation of the Earth isn't introducing another variable. No,
that wasn't your first claim. No, your first hypothesis was a cause.
If the Earth is shut up, if the Earth is rotating, right, and you want to see if that is the cause of that effect, then you would put a counter rotation in the opposite direction to see if you got a different result. That answers your question. Don't act like it doesn't.
No, that's not science. That's
yes, it is. No, it is absolutely science. I get that you don't understand science.
Define something.
Yeah, I get that you don't understand science, Spurs, but that's your problem, not all of ours.
That's why the majority of the flat Earth community have had enough, Craig, of this nonsense. That
they don't.
No,
the flat Earth community don't understand science. That's the problem. I've just explained to you the answer to your question. You denying it does not mean it's not correct. Okay?
No.
The answer. No, Spurs. The answer's been given. You either accept it or you're a fucking retard.
No, I'm not going to accept this pseudoscience.
It's not pseudoscience. No.
You're a retard then.
You just saying it's pseudoscience doesn't make it pseudoscience. All right? The two options. No, Spurs. No, I don't believe. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's been measured. All right?
Then test it then. Test it.
Easy, right? You don't have to use an interferometric fiber optic gyroscope. The gentleman physicist has showed that you can measure the Earth's rotation using a pendulum. Now, if this is the case, if it is the Earth that is rotating, causing a pendulum to drift, simply by changing your latitude, you will be changing the amount of drift. That will alter the IV. All right? That has been done.
No,
the gentleman physicist... Shh. Don't talk when I'm still talking. The middle of my sentence does not have to be interrupted by the beginning of yours. All right. Now, if you change your latitude on the planet, that will introduce a different amount of drift. Therefore, you are manipulating the cause of the effect. Moving on. Jaybird Max for I've answered the question. You either accept it or you're a retard. Jaybird Max for $4.99 says you either accept it or you're a retard. Moving on. Jaybird Max for $4.99 says he could make it to the top of Mount Everest. He has an entire head full of air. That's true. Sergeant Jelly Donut for $5. Awesome name, by the way. Can Spurs tell me why my ears pop when I go up the mountains in Arizona? My head isn't a man-made device.
Because he's unhealthy.
All right, Spurs. So when I was training in the Navy, all right, to be a submariner, you have to undergo what's called the SET tank, the Submarine Escape Training Tank. It's a massive, massive tower of water in Gosport, down in the south of England, right? And you go to the bottom of this tower of water, and you're put into a chamber, right? And what they do is they equalize that chamber to the pressure of the water at the bottom of the tower. And it makes a hatch pop open, the water comes in, and you shoot up to test if you can hold your breath during the 200-foot ascent. So pressure was put into that chamber, and that made my ears pop.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
Right? So why do ears pop when you go up a hill or up in an airplane? Why when there's that's what they're saying. It's a change in pressure that causes the ears to pop, not being unhealthy.
Craig.
No, it's not correlation. It's a fact. And do you know what else happened, right? I had a cold. I had a really bad cold it was the third time I'd done my training. And when you're going under pressure, you have to keep equalizing, keep doing that to blow air and equalize your ears. I had a cold and I couldn't do that. My inner ear exploded and I had to go into hospital and have surgery, or basically right in the inside of my inner ear, nearly on my brain, because I couldn't equalize the pressure. Pressure is what causes ears to pop, not being
I just
unfit.
want to say, I just want to say something, that these debates have a very, they have so many different benefits that one would not get without watching the debate. For instance, say you're in the middle of nowhere and there's a mountain next to you and you start feeling sick, but you just don't have access to a doctor. No big deal. Want to know whether you're healthy or not? Just climb up the fucking mountain. If your ears pop, you're not fucking healthy. You're gonna die.
Look, again, these are just stories. I'm not interested in stories.
It's not a story. It's a fact.
Yeah, but I don't want correlation. I don't want the sun rises because the cockerel crowed. Okay? This is
no, that's Sleeping Warrior that thinks that, not me.
Well, that's the point. This is correlation. I'm not interested in this.
I'm not giving you correlation. I'm giving you causes.
You are.
No.
We need the cause.
No. It's a fact that when you increase in pressure, or sometimes even decrease in pressure, it makes your ears pop because the inside of your head is trying to equalize with the pressure outside of it. That's a fact. It's not correlation. That is a cause.
Your body temperature.
No, it's nothing to do with temperature. Spurs, it's nothing to do with temperature. I can guarantee you that it's nothing. No, Spurs, shut up. Spurs, I can guarantee you it's nothing to do with temperature. Absolutely nothing to do with temperature. It's all to do with pressure. The temperature no, you're wrong. You're wrong. The temperature in that chamber that I was in did not change as they were increasing the pressure.
No, that's different. That's real pressure, water pressure.
No, it wasn't water pressure. They added air into it to equalize to the same pressure as the water, which allows the hatch to open.
In a container, that can happen with low pressure. Yeah, that's real.
So pressure causes ears to pop. Cool.
He doesn't get it.
Yeah. The snark for €2. We're moving on now. We're moving on now, Spurs. The snark for €2. Spurs is at the end of the bell end curve. That's true. Crafty Keeler for €5. Spurs, action movies are not real, mate. 11 hours in a non-pressurized baggage carriage. Citation needed. To be fair, Crafty Killer, there is some people that have survived those journeys. However, all the ones I've read had serious damage to their inner ears and serious hypoxia and frostbite. So,
who asked that? Oh, hold on, Craig. That was for me. She paid to ask me. What was the question about? She wants to see a citation. Well,
yeah, you did already show that, so that's what I was explaining.
What's the name? What's the name?
Crafty Keeler.
Keeler. So Keeler, if you go on to Wikipedia or to Google and look up stowaways on aeroplanes, stowaways on aeroplanes, in the wheel hub, or wherever it is, under the wheel, you'll have a list, a long list of survivors and those that unfortunately died.
And when you check out the survivors, you notice they all have hypoxia.
Those that died because they were either crushed by the wheel, or it was because they passed out. Or they fell asleep and then fell out.
No, passed out because of lack of pressure.
It was just too cold and they didn't take the necessary garments.
If you actually look at
couldn't breathe.
Spurs, if you look at all of the things that you were talking about, every single one of the autopsies showed that they died from hypoxia. No.
Again, the temperature is what would have.
I'm afraid that the medical examiners that looked at the bodies disagree with you. Sir Pick a Pup the Benevolent for £2 says, "Hey Spurs, where'd the 13 frames go?"
Where do what? Sorry.
Where did the 13 frames go?
13 frames. What does he mean?
You know what it means. Second best Bob for £5. Yeah, with Reds. The second best Bob for £5. Spurs the Poe strikes again. Nobody can be this stupid for real. So
again, he needs to look on Reg that this has been discussed.
And you guys removed 13 frames.
I gave Red's video in good faith, and then what happened to it afterwards is not down to me.
It's funny that a flat earther is also dishonest, huh? David Oliver for £5 asks Spurs for his evidence. He just presupposes his flat claims and makes no sense. Yeah, Spurs doesn't really do evidence.
Evidence for flat Earth is water. Large bodies of water cannot conform around the exterior of an object without a force.
Wrong.
You're funny.
Would you like me to show you a video of water sticking to a really big spinning ball?
Yeah.
No worries. Give me 1 second. I posted that on a community page a few days ago. Where's it gone? Here we go.
Anyway, 5 more minutes, Craig, and then we're really going to have to wrap it
up. So if I show you that water can stick to a spinning ball, will you drop that claim?
Well, no, you're going to have to let me know what the force behind that is.
Force is irrelevant. The fact that this is water sticking to a spinning ball. Look at that. Look at that big, massive spinning ball with water stuck all over it.
No, it's not stuck to the ball, Craig.
Yes, it is.
Checkmate, flat earthers!
I'm sorry, but are you telling me that water that's all over the ball isn't stuck to it?
Yeah, it's not stuck to the ball, Craig.
Looks pretty fucking stuck to me. It's not flying off, is it? Well, can you see the
stuck?
Can you see the water flying off? See that
sheen? How is it stuck?
That ball is making so many more revolutions per minute than the Earth is. That the water should be just flying off. I mean, into the sun, into the real sun. 30 miles up, 70 miles wide. That water should be just touching the sun from how fast that Earth is spinning. Wow.
Water conforming to the outside of a spinning ball. Yeah, I'm sorry. Flat Earth's just been killed.
Craig, this is
you can't say the water's moving either, because the reflection on it's so perfect. It's almost like perfectly flat glass.
Spurs, you can't ever say to me that water doesn't stick to a spinning ball, because it does.
Yeah, but that water there is not horizontal and level.
It's level to the ball.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's vertical. That's not level.
It's level to the ball.
No, it's not. That's like I just.
I mean, you can keep saying no, it's not, but you'd be wrong because the water is level to that ball.
Well, then show me then that it's level. Then how would you put a level on it?
The water is level to the ball, and being level.
How would you show that? How would you show that? How would you put a level on that ball and show that water on the vertical is level?
Do you know the difference between level, being level, and the tool, a level?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't. Spurs. I'm going to answer it for you. You don't know the difference.
Yes.
Water sticking to a spinning ball. Flat Earth dead. Michael H for £2. Pounds for beverage of your choice to relax after this. I will be having tequila. Johnny Marr, £3 with no message, thank you very much. Guy with Bearded Lizard, $4.99. Spurs is confusing the pressure-temperature of Earth's atmosphere with the pressure-temperature relationships of a phase change from solid, liquid, and gas. You could have finished that super chat with Spurs is confusing. That would have done, honestly. Alien X Gaming for $5. Hello all, hope all is well with everyone. We now know what is wrong with this Poe. He was oxygen deprived for too long and is now brain damaged. Spurs, were you oxygen deprived?
See, this is when the ad homs come out, when obviously we're
That's
successful.
not an ad hom. That's not an ad hom.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
guys start
question.
to attack and start to...
Spurs.
When you're back to the corner...
Yeah, that's not
this
an
is what
ad hom.
usually happens.
That you guys, none of you know what an ad hom is. Do me a favour,
Well,
go back to
the
Nathan
idea
Oakley
is that-
and tell him to look up fallacies because he doesn't understand any of them.
Look, the idea is that you turn to abuse when the heat is on and you can't answer simple questions.
Yeah, they're not trying to answer questions. They're super chatting me to make fun of you. That's the difference.
That's the point. When they see that they're priests, you Craig, are their priest, and when you fail to deliver, they just turn to abuse.
In the name of the gravity, the ball, and the holy horizon.
There you go.
Bjorn Kamitz for
Craig.
50 secs. I do have a question for Spurs. I don't know your explanation for things falling down, but how do you account for terminal velocity?
Again, depends on the medium that it's in.
Yeah, that doesn't really answer the question.
change the velocity. What?
That really doesn't answer the question. What causes terminal
Yeah,
velocity?
it's all relative. It's density, relative density.
No.
and
What causes terminal velocity?
Well, like I said, when something's fallen and it reaches its terminal velocity, that's because of the medium that it's in. Obviously, if it's in space, it will fall forever and ever and ever.
No, you're just saying words. I've asked you for the mechanism behind what causes terminal velocity. Why?
Yeah,
why
does it
when
do that?
if I jump out of an airplane, will I accelerate until a certain point? What causes terminal velocity?
Because of the medium that you are in. I was just explaining that to you.
No,
straight.
you
interrupted me.
you're just saying the medium. What does the medium do? How does it cause terminal velocity? Why, when I get to a certain speed, do I stop accelerating?
So every medium has a rate that things can move through it.
Yeah, that's not answering the question, Spurs. What
That is
causes
answering the question.
No, you can move through things. Yes, we all agree with that. But what is
What happens
causing
in space? Let's
Spurs?
beg the question.
No, Spurs. We're talking about terminal velocity. We're talking about terminal velocity on Earth.
Can you reach terminal velocity in space?
No, because there's no atmosphere.
Exactly.
What is,
Yeah,
now,
no
now,
atmosphere.
why would you not reach terminal velocity in space, but why do you reach it on Earth? What is the mechanism behind that?
The atmosphere, the medium.
Yeah, that's not answering the question. That's just saying things. The correct answer is that the surface area of the thing that's falling meets the air and creates a resistive force, right? Due to friction.
That's what I'm saying. If you remove the medium, there was no
No,
resistance.
Spurs, that was not what you were saying. What you said was the medium.
Yeah, it's
That's
much
it.
more
Exactly,
to
Because there's a
Spurs-
medium.
Spurs,
No,
it's
no,
much,
yeah, okay,
the
Spurs,
atmosphere
let me
or water.
much more to do
let
with
me-
surface
let me
area.
explain
anyway,
something to you. Let me- Spurs,
I've got to go.
Spurs.
Gotta go. Sorry, T. Go on quickly, but
Take care,
this
man.
is it.
Take care. No,
Go on.
it's okay. I was gonna make fun of you. No big deal. We'll just
Alright,
let's
okay.
let's
Thank
get
you,
together
Craig.
sometime
Great
in the
as
next
ever.
couple of days on my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just get your points out. Remember, I'm all about the science. If you can't
No, you're
prove
not.
it, team, then you're going to be in trouble. Okay, and I'll call you out for it.
Wait.
That it's a religious
Spurs, one
Okay,
quick question
that's
before
fine.
you leave. Does science prove things, yes or no?
science. Our version of science does. Your science gives
Right,
you
that's
evidence.
the problem. Your version of science. That's not
I'm
science.
saying your version gives you evidence.
Hey,
Craig,
Spurs,
and,
do you know what
understand
kind of
this.
do you know what kind of science proves things?
Yeah, follow the scientific
Pseudoscience.
method.
No. There's only one kind of science that proves things, and that is pseudoscience.
Have a good evening, guys. Good night.
Goodbye. Zib80 for £5 says, I bet this super chat that Spurs would not attempt an 11-hour flight at altitude. I'd love to stick him in a wheel well of an airplane and see what happens. Basic trigonometry for £2. Spurs seems to have made many unpressurized flights. Sir Pick a Pup the Benevolent for £2. FTFE sent you the perfect proof on Discord. I'm sorry, guys. I know people send me messages and stuff on Discord and emails, but I have thousands of unread messages. I am genuinely thinking of hiring a social media manager because I can't keep up with all the shit. Olek for 10 PlayStation Network dollars. I've got a question. How stupid is Spurskimo? There isn't a scale large enough to measure that. Sleepy Dan for $5. If relative density determines weight, then will a glass of ice increase in weight as it melts to water? Water is more dense than ice. Yeah, it really should. In fact, that's an interesting thing. Team, why is it that water is the only thing where its solid form is less dense than its liquid form?
Because of the hydrogen bonds on the inside. And the way, I guess, when they... I don't know the exact answer. I've looked it up before, but when they freeze, they freeze in such a manner that the hydrogen bonds cause the spacing between the atoms to increase versus when they are when they're at in liquid form.
Okay.
So because it forms a more spaced out lattice, it increases. But I could be wrong. But I know it has something to do with the hydrogen bonds.
That makes sense.
Chemists out there, please feel free to correct me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Team and I, right, is that we don't mind being corrected. If we get something wrong, please fucking tell us. Because the difference between an intelligent person and a stupid person is an intelligent person will thank you when you correct them, whereas a stupid person will argue with you. Nathan Turnson for $5 says, this is one of the more interesting debates in a while. Good stuff, Mr. Sensible. Yeah, Mr. Sensible's fucking excellent. And I put the link to his channel in the description. I would encourage everybody to go over and give him a sub because he does a lot of great work. And I've actually used a fair few of his experiments to demonstrate my points that I'm bringing up in debates. So yeah, Mr. Sensible is excellent. Definitely give him a subscribe. The Snark for €2 says vaping makes you swear, Mr. Sensible. God's Auditor for $5. Spurs, just go visit Colorado Springs. Its mere existence disproves most of your points. It's a mile up, has much lower atmospheric pressure, and can be plus 95 degrees.
So
Yeah.
I just looked up I just looked that up scientifically why water is less dense, and I fucking almost goddamn nailed it. And I've just looked one or two times to understand it, but because I always use that argument when people are like, oh, it's just, relative density, and I'm like, what's denser, water or ice? And they're like, well, water is. And I'm like, then why does ice not float seriously, like sitting on top of water? Why is the ice cube halfway submerged in?
Majority of it will be
or
underwater.
Sometimes more than that. Yeah, 98% of it, I believe, is what it is.
Right, so Sleepy Dan for $2 says soda cans pop whether they are colder or warmer. Yep, they absolutely do. He couldn't answer the crisp packet thing. He just keeps saying temperature without explaining what that means. JL Warren for $1.99. Pocahontas is leading us down the wrong trail. I still don't think Spurs is a Po. Honestly, I think he is a contrarian. But I do think that he thinks the Earth is flat. But I think he enjoys arguing more than actually demonstrating that the Earth is flat. Maybe I just say that because I don't want to believe people are that stupid. I'm not sure. Jessica G says... yeah, Jessica G for $2 says, how are you staying so calm during this FTFE? Copious amounts of alcohol. David Oliver for £5. I really respect Team Skeptic. He just says it how it is. I love it. That's because Team's awesome.
Man. I have no time for fucking nonsense.
Team can be a lot more savage than me when he needs to be. And I've learned a lot from Team. And he's also someone that, if any of my subscribers aren't subscribed to Team Skeptic, then you're definitely missing out. If you like my content, then you will absolutely love Team's content. Because he's brilliant. Diabetic Warslug for $10.
Thank you.
Team coming in strong. Keep up the pressure. Yeah. I love how quickly Team goes from 0 to 1,000.
I think you meant keep up the temperature. Keep up the relative density, Team Skeptic.
Irish Demon for $2 Tinky, Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Poe. Your god is a knob. Yeah. The god arguments, or you need God for a morality. Right, so if I'm going to use God as a moral compass, then I can beat women, have slaves, and murder people that don't worship me. cool, no worries. I'll use that as my moral compass and just be an absolute psychopathic murderer. And when the police say, why did you kill those people? Oh, well, you know, because it was the moral thing to do, according to God. No. If God is real, then God does not deserve worshipping. If God is real, then he's a fucking nuts, psycho, horrible dick. And if God is real, he needs to come to my house and prove that he's real by performing a miracle. Explain why my little sister is the youngest person in the world, in Europe, to be diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And then what happens is me and God are fighting, and I'm throwing the first punch. GBG Man for 26. Please dance, Team Skeptic. He's not on camera right now, but if you want to see Team Skeptic dance, here you go. There you go, Team Skeptic dancing.
Oh yeah, baby. You know it.
Did you
It's
do
the sex dance that everybody loves so much.
Yeah. Oh god. Skipped. I've lost where I was. The plot hole for $5 says, excuse me sir, but if you don't have your U-boat docked at the plot hole port, then you're missing out on a party. Shill payment. Cheers. The Plot Hole is another awesome channel that you should go and check out, and also go to the is it rockmetaltalk.com to listen to their podcasts. They're absolutely amazing. Tim Pryor for $5 says Spurs is pulling more crap out of his butt than a mad magician does his hat. Bella Charge for $5 New Zealand says, what's up pork chop? Good old YouTube notification late as always. Hey Bella, how you doing, dude?
Hey, I want to do, hold on one thing. I want to give a shout out to Bella Charge. Last night, me and him just randomly decided to play some Call of Duty, and I carried him to his first win. We could just say it's my win, but because I had the backpack on known as Bella Charge, this will be considered our win, Bella. You're awesome, dude. Thank you so much for strengthening my back the way you have over the past couple of weeks so that I could carry you so easily.
And a better charge for $2 New Zealand.
And you got your first win. Woohoo!
Says, are me and team going to 1v1 today? Well, maybe we'll go to team's channel and do some gaming afterwards. If he's up for it, we'll see. Mike Hunt for $5. Please link Skeptic's channel in the description. I love this guy. I usually link Team Skeptic's channel in the descriptions of pretty much anything I do. And usually on the end card, there's a subscribe to Team Skeptic thing. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, links in the description. JL Warren for $1.99 says, SCJ Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away. RIP. Oh, that's shit. I hate it when good people die. Mike Hunt for $5. Ask him why he can inhale and exhale if there's no pressure. Why is there blood pressure? What you don't realise is it's all to do with the relative blood density, actually. And Mike Hunt for $5. So you believe in God with no proof, but argue against proof that the earth is round. Exactly. And the George said for $2, just to annoy FTFE's wife. Yep, every time you super chat me, it all flashes. And when my wife's trying to sleep, she complains to me the next day. Huge arse for $5 Australian. The equinox kills the flat earth. Be part of a worldwide equinox observation, link below. If you guys want to go and subscribe to Huge Arse, Hugh, if you're there, whack your link to the channel in the description. He is doing a worldwide equinox observation that people can be involved in. Calypsis for $2. FTFE, what's the email address again? My email address is fighttheflatearth@gmail.com. Titanic Terrarium for 5 SGDs. I missed it. Did Spurs speak a load of drivel again? Yeah. Just yeah. NA for $5. FTFE, don't pick on Robin. Hail Sagan. I can pick on Team if I want. He is my sidekick. He didn't disagree. He's definitely my sidekick. And then NA for $1.66 with no message. Thank you. David Oliver for £5. Spurs, is it flat? Then you have to prove it. No flat earthers ever tried to prove anything. Sergeant Jelly Donut for $5. Team Skeptic, I can do your mountain test next weekend and record it for you. How do I contact you to set it up?
Please
and
do.
What would you like me to do?
That's easy. Just drive up a mountain a couple of different times and different scenarios and document it each time. We just need the temperature inside of the car. We can measure the pressure, or we can just kind of visually the pressure decreasing as we increase in the car. If we can, see that it's a constant temperature, we'll be able to show the Spurs that temperature didn't change, pressure must have changed. So that's all it would take. And then show another one. Actually, here's a better one. Do a second one like this. Let the car reach a certain temperature, and then as you drive up the mountain, turn the AC on blast so the temperature on the interior of the car decreases. So that way he can't say, we could say, well, if it was temperature, then the decreasing temperature should have caused the bag to decrease or deflate like it did with his balloon. And then we'll show that it still increases regardless. So just document it and have something there to measure the temperature. That you're not using to measure surface temperature. It needs to measure air temperature, not surface temperature.
And how can they contact you? Email?
fatherskeptic@gmail.com.
Right, yeah, that'd be great if you could do that. We always love it when people help us out with evidence. Titanic Terrarium for 5 SGD with a ha 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 sticker. Thank you very much. And then we got a new member, B Falconer. Thank you. You can now use the awesome emojis of Nathan Thompson in jail. Dumpster fire. Thanks, Bob. And I am sorry about this one, but Team Skeptic in a mankini. Titanic Terrarium for 5 SGDs. FTFE, when are you going to troll Nathan's channel again? That was beautiful. Me and Team are going to go over there together at some point and give him some extra trolling, because that's all the fucking knob deserves. We're not going to try and debate him. We're just going to go there and trigger him. Better Charge for $2 New Zealand says, Spurs, are you a simp for Oakley? He absolutely is. Titanic Terrarium for 5 SGD says, Spurs, how do you have the arrogance to comment on things you have never studied and feel like you have the capability to invent your own science? It's cognitive dissonance. It's what flat earthers are all about. Cognitive dissonance mixed with just not understanding anything. So Mike Hunt for $5. OMG, I'm dying laughing. I was with you, mate. That was fucking hilarious. Tim Pryor for $5 says, I want to hear FTFE say, I'm giving it all she got, Captain. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. There you go. I don't do a very good Scottish accent because I'm not actually Scottish. I just live in Scotland. Although you should hear my kids with their little Scottish accents. It's so cute. Michael Acosta for $5 says, I got mad respect for you, Team and FTFE. You guys coming here arguing with intellectually dishonest morons over and over for our entertainment. And that's what it's about, entertaining you guys. We fucking love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good time doing this too. I don't want anybody to ever think that I mean, it's mentally draining sometimes, especially when you're dealing with people like Spurs. It can legitimately be mentally draining, but at the same time, it's fun. I mean, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the conversation, the rhetoric, the confrontation. I'm a very confrontational person in real life, so the confrontation to me, it doesn't bother me. You know, like when we're getting there and he's like, "You're mad, you're yelling, you're mad," and I'm like, "No, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come over here, come see me get mad," and then you'll go back and be like, "Oh, Team Skeptic's cool. He's just talking a little loud. That's it. He's not mad. Trust me, I seen him mad." Yeah. But I'm a confrontational person. I enjoy it, and confrontation. I'm learning that people love that. People want to see you confront the stupidity head on and say, "Fuck that. I'm not gonna let you get away with saying that stupid shit."
No, Mike 71.
That's what I'm here for.
Mike 71 in the chat says, "Do they give you headaches?" No lie. There has been a few debates where, by the time I've finished the debate, I've had to go and take some paracetamol because my fucking head is aching from because it is mentally draining. Dealing with constant denial and trying to have to explain basic physics to someone that really doesn't want to learn can be mentally draining, but I do it for your guys' entertainment, and I fucking love doing it, even if sometimes it gives me a bit of a headache. Truth Nerds for €5 says, for a one-axis gyro, you just need to vary the angle between the gyro's axis and the Earth's axis of rotation. That's your independent variable. Yeah, but the flat Earth argument would be, well, you didn't change the Earth's rotation because they're fucking idiots. Bjorn Kamitz.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bjorn Kamitz for 56 says, question to Spurs, how do you determine the speed of two objects passing each other? How would you go about determining that's going on? He wouldn't. He can't do maths. Calypsis for...
Yeah, and speaking of that, I wanted to add this before out. When he was like, when you were like, but why? Explain why. It's like if you asked the question at an upper level of math and you said, is the square root of 2 a rational number? And why? Well, the answer wouldn't be yes or no.
No, exactly.
The answer would be yes or no, and then you would have to show your proof as to the reason why you came to that answer, yes or no. There's always an explanation to that answer, and the explanation can't be because it is. You know, you can't go, yeah, it's an irrational number. Why? Because it is. Well, how do you know? Well, because I know.
Yeah.
But how would I figure that out? Just ask me. You know, like that's not how math and science and all this works. You have to like be able to explain why and then be able to show it as well. You know, and that's one thing he doesn't understand.
Just one of the many, obviously. Mike Hunt for $5 says, bigger question, what's up with your mohawk? That is proof the earth is flat because it doesn't curve. Honestly, my hair, this is the only thing it does. My hair has two modes. Look like shit or look like a penis on my head. I barely even have to style it for it to go like this. It's just, I guess because I got a receding hairline, it naturally causes this faux hawk. I don't have a mohawk, it's a faux hawk.
When I used to grow the hair right around my shaft, when it would get towards the tip of my penis, it would naturally just come together and form like a mohawk for my penis. You are fucking identical to the way it used to me. It looked just like you when you look in the camera. So I'm kind of getting turned on, Fight. I'm sorry to admit.
I can't help it. It's what happens.
My hand is like shaking uncontrollably.
B Falconer for $5 as a former naval nuclear engineer, just like you, Craig. Respect. I find your use of the word submariner offensive. It's submariner. Get it straight. Sorry. Titanic Terrarium for 5 SGD. Spurs. Why is it if you dive down to 30 meters and don't exhale on the ascent, you will cause your lungs to explode? That's called barotrauma. Yeah, that's one of the things that when you're doing the submarine escape training tank, right? I always remember the first time I did it. It's really fucking weird, right? Because you come out of your it equalizes and the hatch above you releases, and you go up into the water, and there's an instructor at the bottom who holds you still for a second to look at you to make sure you're okay, and you start breathing out slowly, and they check that the bubbles are coming, right? And you're at the bottom of like, you know, a good couple 100 feet of water, and then he lets you go, and you start going up, and you breathe out slowly as you're going up, right? And it gets to a point where you're like, I can't breathe out anymore. I can't keep breathing out. But then your lungs inflate again. And it's totally fucking weird. All of a sudden, even though you felt like you breathed out as much as you could, your lungs are full of breath again that you can keep breathing out. Because as you've gone up and the pressure's decreased, your lungs have expanded and it feels like there's more air in there. Yeah, the submarine escape training tank was awesome. Scary, but fucking awesome. Mike Hunt for $5. OMG, Wikipedia is not a reliable source. I know, especially when Wikipedia actually debunks what they're saying. Sugar Jelly Donut for $5 might be unhealthy.
I called it. No, hold on. I called it. When you asked him that, when you were like, what is sublimation? And he didn't immediately answer. He was like, I know what sublimation is. And you're like, well, what is it? Well, I know. Okay.
Yeah, he's Googling it as he's saying this.
Yeah, and the way he read it, it was like
exactly
the
as it's
perfect
written.
Scientific definition of sublimation. I was like, somebody look this up. He is absolutely reading from Google. And he started laughing when I said that, and I was like, yeah, I know I got him there.
Gary Webeninga in the chat, I don't know why you keep trying. It's very simple, okay? You do not get to talk in my chat until we have debated live. Until that time, you will be timed out constantly. Okay? It's called the Vicky treatment, and you are on the end of it right now. Sugar Jelly Donut for $5 might be unhealthy, but at least I'm not stupid like you, Spurs. I don't think anyone's stupid like Spurs.
Nick Dipshit. Who is Nick Dipshit?
Oh,
I forgot.
Nick Dipshit. That's Gary Webeninga.
Oh, Nick Dipshit.
Yeah.
What up, Nick?
Yeah, Nick Dipshit, you don't get to talk unless you debate me live. I did see a lot of people timing out Gleam. I know Gleam can be frustrating, but please don't time him out unless he's being hateful in the chat. Me and Gleam are trying to arrange a debate between me, him, and with PhD Tony to talk about Aether. I know he can be frustrating, All right, but he's not actually being nasty or, you know, saying things that are bad or could get the channel shut down. So unless Gleam is stepping out of line, please don't time him out just because you don't like what he's saying. And then we got Mike Hunt for $5. When it is minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit here, it is 70 degrees in my house. The pressure is the same. Must be some kind of crazy magic. Steve I for £2.
Hey, Gary Wabanga, I want to pass a message on to Gary Wabanga. Yeah, if you change your YouTube name to Nick Dipshit, I'll make you a moderator on my channel.
Yeah, I'll do that. Change
For
it to
1
Nick Dipshit.
month. For 1 month, but you have to change it to Nick Dipshit.
Come on, guys, please stop timing out Gleam. He's not doing anything wrong. Batch, please don't time him out just because he's saying bad things, the things that you don't like. I like to give flat earthers a chance to say what they want in the chat. Only if they're being hateful, time him out. Please don't just do it for no reason. Then we got Steve I for £2 says, just keep it up, FTFE. Poe, attack, attack, attack. Yeah, I like attacking flat earthers. Mike Hunt for $5. When I grill my steak, I guess the pressure increases.
It does. Significantly.
Yeah. And then
your pressure increases to above 140 degrees. Okay.
B-Ball for life, $5. Artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity. I do hope when the robots take over, they take out the flat earthers first. And then we've got Tim Pryor for $5. Close enough, that was good. Yeah, I don't do Scottish accents very well, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Wow, that was a fun night. I had a lot of fun listening to Spurs be an idiot. Mr. Sensible did extremely well, as he always does. And then Team came in and just absolutely wrecked Spurs like he always does. Team and I, today, we both released a Karen video. If you haven't seen them, then please go and check them out. I thought both Teams and my videos were pretty good. If you haven't seen it, please do go and watch it. Monday, hopefully, there'll be a debate between me, PhD Tony, and Gleam. I'm going to try and arrange that. Team, what have you got coming up this weekend?
I'm not sure. I know tomorrow I'm doing an interview with Roxy Lowry on her channel.
Oh.
And then I don't know if I'll go live tomorrow night. Alexa, I've been trying to put together a big game of Among Us with a few of the content creators. So we might have to, I might wait till Wednesday to do that. And if I wait and I don't live stream tomorrow night, I'll live stream Sunday night for sure, 100%.
Okay, cool. If you guys aren't subscribed to Team Skeptic, then sort that out. He's one of my favorite content creators on YouTube, and I don't say that just because he's my boss.
Yeah, my nickname is your favorite content creator's favorite content creator. So.
Yeah. Guys, I want to say thank you very much for being here. There was 700 of you watching at one point, which is amazing. Thank you so much for all the super chats and the new members. I honestly could not keep doing what I do if it wasn't for the support and generosity that you guys show me. It absolutely blows my mind that you want to keep me doing this. You must have extremely low standards, but thank you. And I know that not everybody is able to support financially. The best way to help support my channel, if you can't support financially, is to share on Facebook and Twitter. Honestly, social media stuff, my stuff being shared on social media is an amazingly important part of my channel growing. I can't believe that I've got 41,000 subs. And to help me get up to that 50k to 100k, the best way that you can help is to share everything that I do on Twitter and Facebook as much as you can, especially in any group Nathan Thompson is a part of. Team, any final words?
I was going to say that, the do your part. I'm going to tell the people out there right now, do your part, okay? Me and Fight did ours. We made videos. We put together a medium that you can easily share anytime someone's being a fucking Karen, anytime one of these flat earthers open their fucking mouth online. Your job tomorrow, I'm not going to say tonight because tonight it's late, but tomorrow, your job is to piss off an anti or piss off a flat earther. One of those two things needs to be done tomorrow. Me and Fight have put forth the effort to ensure that you have the tools so that you are capable of accomplishing this task. There's a share button at the bottom of this video. There's a share button at the bottom of my video. Click share, share it on Facebook, share it on Reddit, share it on Twitter, share it everywhere. Because when you start sharing it, you're actively becoming a part of growing this channel.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for doing your job. I know
honestly
you guys
means the
are responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're responsible out there, so I know you'll do your job tonight.
And I see Flat Earther Smart Pants has just appeared in the chat. And this is something I've heard a few of them say, that apparently Eric Dubay is responding to my video about him. I can't wait for Eric Dubay to put out his video about me. Excellent stuff for us to laugh at. However, anyone that is stupid enough to believe Eric Dubay is actually a Flat Earther is dumb as fuck. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the flat, fight the flat, fight the flat, fight the